Hello, everybody. Welcome to the MAG1 Live. We should be live now, right? All right, we are live. Welcome. So we've got a big day today. It is the finals of the first season of the MAG1 League. We've got 4 players who will be battling it out in a semifinals and finals all in one day. I'm joined by Rooster.
Hello, hello. Glad to be here.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh, I've been excited all day. I've been mentioning to my chatters the matchups that we have today. I don't think we could wish for anything better. I mean, when you've got the likes of Red Hair, Flower Fairy, Sacco, and Apooche facing off, I think it's always going to be a good time. So yeah, looking forward to this.
Yeah, it doesn't feel real, to be honest. It feels like there's some paid actors to make this happen.
For sure, yeah. So what's going to happen now, as I understand it, is that we're going to have 2 best-of-3s, and the way that's been set up is that we'll first have the 2 201 competitors facing off against one another.
Yeah, so that means we're going to guarantee to have a 501 versus 201 finals, but it does mean we're going to be seeing some blood early on. Only one can make it through.
I mean,
We're
that's the name
already
of the
hopping
game.
in, I guess. That was fast.
So let's talk a bit about this matchup. We're going to have Flower Fairy, who has been, for sure, the best player in the game, at least in terms of MMR. And then we have Red Hair, who is probably the GOAT of 201 and has always remained consistent. Do you have any favorites in this matchup? What do you think is going to be happening here? Are you expecting standard? Are you expecting some aggro?
Well, with Red Hair, you never know, right? I think Flower Fairy is going to be on standard for sure. As far as a favorite, I think it's a complete toss-up. I do believe it is known that Flower Fairy is better against 201 and struggles against 501. Is that correct? I haven't seen the stats for a little bit.
Yeah, we do have that matchup sheet there. Just saw it. And actually, no, Flower Fairy performs worse against 50 against 201 than against 501, although it's a very small sample size. The more reliable one would be Red Hair, who boasts an impressive, very consistent 65 to 66% win rate there against both regions. So, yeah. We know he's capable of both playstyles too. Very high tempo player, always tough to face. So I think he'll probably just run by the packs, and I'm expecting indeed Flower Fairy to be more conservative with his playstyle.
Yeah, for sure. We know that he does not like defense, and Red Hair is capable of a really strong aggro, so I could see Red Hair leaning into that.
Yeah, like whenever I face him, and we talked about this with one of the competitors as well, is that I think Flower Fairy, if you want to beat him, the best way is to try your hand at aggro.
For sure.
All right, the packs are on screen.
Instant Typhoon Specialist pick. I'm not surprised. That SPC is insane. Pretty good defensive pick as well. And actually, Red Hair going for what could possibly be an aggro pack with balls and arcs.
Yeah, you have to imagine. Although, what I have seen from Red Hair is a more standard setup from Steel Balls in a lot of his recent games.
Yes. Yeah, the 201s have sort of been playing balls and standard sometimes, almost like a bamboozle.
And it does look like he's going to be going for that yet again.
Wow. I think he might regret this because Flower Fairy is so good in standard, and I would say he has a better standard pack. They both have really strong economic packs here, so this could be a really long, drawn-out economic game. They have good health totals too.
I mean, I'm not sure I would even. I mean, I guess the sledges. Yeah, I mean, both of them have the arc light, so that kind of cancels each other out. But Red Hair realizing that here, going for no chaff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see how these connections go.
I like the marksman here. The key thing for him is going to be to try and lock onto the sling hammers and arc lights. Need a few DPS because there's a lot of hit points on the board for Flower Fairy. And we can see that with only 2 trawlers being able to be purchased on round 1, Red Hair is able to make those connections. Steel balls are running in. Will only be going down now, but I think the marksman will be just fine to finish this off, which means that round 1 will be secured by Red Hair.
Yeah, a little marginal victory there. I'm sure he's happy with that. It's just a waiting game for the Typhoon Specialist, so not the worst there. Early Bearlike drop.
Ooh.
Well, there's some chaff if you want some, but I don't think they're going to be picking that.
Yeah, I don't really want to give away that experience with the high level fangs. Stormcaller makes a lot of sense. I'm a bit surprised with the Fire Badger though. It's a high tempo pack, but as far as I'm aware, not that common in standard with the lack of range.
Yeah, I agree. That's very weird. This is a really weird board for red hair. I'm not feeling good about
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces where you're kind
it.
of scratching your head, like, where is this gonna go? Like, field ball and standard, I don't know. Needs the trap still.
Yeah, almost no chaff. I don't think the storm collars look good yet, but I think essentially Flower Fairy is just building a solid, kind of like a copy paste build, and I think that's going to be a really strong plan here.
I mean, we talked about no chaff. He added one crawler this turn, but if I look at the market, I can see shooting squad being available. Maybe, just maybe, that is the build that Redhair here is going to be going for, trying to spawn those fangs at the start.
Yeah, honestly, that's been like a flavor of the month, right? Like, I don't know if it was monks that popularized it or if it was somebody else, but like some players are just spamming like 2 to 3 per turn and like getting way less chaff.
Yeah. I think Skay has been playing it a lot as well.
Mm. I didn't even see the the picks there, but
That was
Photon was picked.
instant. Oh my day. I mean, look at both of these players. Both Flower Fairy and Feng Feng deciding to go for the marksman. And Flower Fairy already taking it, so might even be ahead.
Yep. Wow, this is so weird. This is like really fast-paced standard gaming. Like I've never been so excited for a standard match.
Yeah, true. It's something different. It's nice to see. We did get that patch recently. I mean, I don't think it'll have that much impact on this particular game, although Typhoons did get nerfed somewhat.
Yeah, true. So shooting squad for Flower Fairy, whereas range on the marksman for red hair. That's kind of not what I expected. Like we were saying that red hair would get it first.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps Red Hair just made the evaluation that a lot of Flower Fairy's board was not that DPS heavy, and so doesn't want to play into the high chaff tier potential.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Well, the range is going to be good at the end of the battle here.
Couple fangs though there being annoying, so Flower Fairy will be picking up his first round.
Will we see the cards this time?
We do. Well, not very long.
Yep, there was underground crawlers.
Yeah, it was like intensive amp core and something.
These players know what they want, man.
Amcore on the Typhoon, what do you think of that? I would have probably sold this already because I just don't trust Typhoons in standard, but it is a very good item holder.
Yeah, but like, first of all, I think items are already weaker in standard unless it's like a really tanky item. And second of all, I completely agree that Typhoon should have been sold. So I don't like that at all. I would have rather grabbed like the underground crawler or something, or even
The
like
question as well
intensive.
is, where is this amp core going to go afterwards? The logical comp with these marksmen, I guess, would be something like Best Buddy
Yeah, yeah.
Vulcans.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel like he's going to go that direction unless maybe Bearlike gives it to him. So I'm not really sure. I don't think the amp core is going to be it's basically just waiting for a Bearlike drop. That's how I feel.
And four, and finally, Red Hair also going for shooting squad, so he has a bit more chaff this time around. The nice thing about this tech being that these fangs are quite spread out, and so hard to kill even for things like arc lights.
Yeah, these both players are just spamming the marksman. Crawler's kind of getting in though from that underground crawler summon.
For now, though, Red Hair taking another round, and that means Flower Fairy is going to be dipping below 3k hit points.
Yeah, red hair kind of running away with it so far. I mean, at least with the health total.
Yeah, and being frugal with his spendings in terms of path here is really starting to pay off. His board only has 2 crawlers, but he has so many marksmen. That Fang spawn proving crucial.
And we got Feng range, I think, on for Flower Fairy. It's kind of
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah, I don't really know what that's about. I mean, maybe he's scared of like wasps. I would say that that's usually why you want to pick range, but
Yeah, maybe it keeps them away from the arc lights a little bit better. Just kind
maybe.
of like keeps more of them alive.
You'd have to imagine that Red Hair will be going for ranged arc lights sometime soon, though.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
We'll see how this works out. Shielded Fang obviously being the more expected tech, I think. Typhoon still on the board. I don't know how much it did last turn. It was second on damage, so not that bad, but it will definitely start falling off.
Yeah, I feel like he should sell at any moment, but I'm not sure long term what they're gonna go for. Like, do you spam Stormcallers or like for Flower Fairy at least?
Yeah, it's an interesting playstyle, isn't it? Like, they're being very reserved, even though you'd maybe start to sweat a little bit here if your Flower Fairy dipping below 3k. Just keeps buying more marksmen, trusting that he'll somehow manage to get an advantage here. We do see the range on the arc lights and the oil being bought by
Yeah,
Feng Feng.
I don't know. This just looks way better for Red Hair to me. Like he just has way more marksmen and like I don't know. It feels like Blue is not committed to anything here. Oh my gosh, that fire is deadly.
Oh, the Badgers weren't taken care of quickly enough, so that does hurt. And look
Typhoon
at the
did
amount of
nothing.
marksmen.
Yeah. I mean, what do you
I
do?
don't think.
I think you need to spam Stormcallers. Like Stormcallers are the one thing that can actually handle marksmen like this.
Yeah, we did see it in, I think, last weekend's Group 2, where Dillo made the crucial move to play Stormcaller spam
Yeah,
into a match where he was getting outranged. Speaking of, extended range Stormcaller available there, but Flower Fairy decides to
actually,
skip it.
yeah, I think it was decent, but he might have a whole other plan. Let's see. But I don't know. You can't spam marksman's back, right? You're already losing the marksman battle, so you got to do something asymmetric.
Yeah, this kind of the nature of these mirrors, it gets real awkward once you start falling behind, because obviously you have kind of invested into these techs, but your opponent is simply ahead, so you have to transition, but that transition will lose you some efficiency, some tempo, and the question is, do you have the hit points to spare to make that transition work?
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I like the Stormcaller spam, because like you already have. I mean, it's just one, but I mean, you can go up to 4. You can take attack, and like you get 4 bodies per deploy, whereas marksman you just get the 1 and the fangs. So
And seems like he'll still keep going in this mirror. Three
well, Fang
things I always
shield.
say. Yeah, I think 3 things that always define mirrors is going to be numbers, is going to be techs, and is going to be levels. And so here,
Yeah,
Flower Fairy trying to get ahead on those techs, grabbing that shield.
yeah, that makes sense. I just think it has to be something asymmetric. So, and now he did sell the Typhoon and put the Amp Core on the blue sledge. I do like that. It's just like kind of efficient way to spend your resources, and I do think the sledges are a nice addition to the board, but it's not something he can build his whole comp around, you know?
You're absolutely right. Interestingly, Feng Fang decided to go for range on the Fangs as well. I might have missed a memo on this. Maybe this is the new meta thing, or maybe he got tempted by the range Flower Fairy took first.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to read. I feel like it is good against Splash because it like spreads them out more, but I don't. There's not a lot of Splash for Flower Fairy, so I'm not sure about it.
Well, the shields definitely are doing their part this turn as we see
Yeah,
them marching into these marksmen, and they're absolutely hopeless in the face of all of this chaff.
still a lot of HP though for Red Hair, so he's not sweating it yet. I don't think.
Taking more damage there than you would expect, though, from a board of small units. 1,000
Yeah.
damage taken, and Flower Fairy is starting to equalize a bit. We get 3 units on round 7. What do you think?
I think you need something girthy, like I, I like the worm or
Yeah,
the fortress or something,
yeah. A
or money.
sandworm, definitely something I have seen popping up a lot in these standard mirrors. Oftentimes they don't have quite like the burst or the DPS to take down the tanky sandworm, so seems like a natural progression of the mirror.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're. Oh, money for
Oh,
red hair. He's selling
ah,
that
Mike.
bad boy.
Nah, he didn't. He actually sold his fire badgers.
Oh my god, he's putting photon on it, and he's like gonna put it in the corner or what? Maybe just
If he can,
defensive.
yeah, if he can match the high level saber to the high level
Oh,
worm, then it is a good counter. But he doesn't.
yeah, it'll still be good, but yeah, I think this is such a weird play personally. Oh my god.
Whoa. Okay.
All right, well that's gonna heal a lot.
Well,
How
it,
much
it
is that?
does fit
3,000 per
within
second?
this. Yeah, it does fit within this theme of your board doesn't have a lot of burst, I guess. Like this is another very tanky unit.
Yep.
But that worm on the left is going to do some nasty things to the board, I think. It has amp core, it has armor enhancement, it has 210,000 hit points. I don't know how it's dying.
Yeah, we have Elite Marksman as an available tech for red hair, but there's not a huge amount of levels on his marksman. Look at this saber. Oh my god, that thing is just cannot die, can it? Like, you would need a lot of marksmans on that, or like the worm with amp core.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at it, but I don't even see its hit point bar diminishing.
Yeah, not even tickled. That's crazy.
It's healing the damage before it arrives.
The worm, on the other hand, looks like it can take damage, slowly but surely.
It is slowly, yeah, getting towards half, which is more than you could say about that saber tooth on the right. The
So
problem
that's
for
just
Flower
a
Fairy
melter,
is,
right?
I mean, I guess, yeah, you have to. But Melter is not even a good matchup into Marksman, so this might just be a genius play from Red Hair.
Yeah. Didn't cost a lot, right?
I mean, the Sabertooth was practically free and 300 for field maintenance at this stage of the game. Probably
Yeah.
fine.
Alright. This is a really exciting standard game. I do like this. Really low chaff and just spamming all kinds of weird stuff.
The end of the round there, coming down to those picked up free units, Saber versus Sandworm, so not that much damage dealt.
Yep. Laser for Flower Fairy. I guess that's just... Oh, he puts it on a melter.
Okay, so we do get the Melter.
Huh. Yeah, it just feels so bad, but you just have to, right? There's nothing else you can do, I think. Like, I guess there's like Ignite, but Ignite is so copium, right? He even has like the Photon for the first 25 seconds.
I know. And he's healing for 4.5% as well. So
Oh, yeah.
the 6% is not even that impactful. It'll take ages.
That's crazy. There's the Elite Marksman. That's going to be a big power spike. May help kill the worm on the left.
Flower Fairy opting to go for another worm tech there, picking up Replicate.
Yeah, it doesn't seem hugely impactful. I'm not even sure that was the best use of money. Like, maybe if he gets more worms.
Yeah, you need more to justify it. I agree.
So he sold, yeah, we sold the sledge last round. He's probably going to sell the other one in the future. Looks like Red Hair still has his sell, but maybe there's nothing he wants to sell. He has the balls in the back. We'll see if they can connect or not. Instant lock on.
That is very good for Flower Fairy.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
the melter's
trying to
expensive,
resist though, but
doesn't
quite have the healing.
So probably Red Hair will sell that, and then he's just left with his melter.
Yeah, these steel balls on the left, I wasn't too sure, but they instantly die. They really need range.
Yeah, you basically need range there.
This looks like a really good turn from Flower Fairy with the way that this has gone.
Yeah, I feel like the melter was expensive, but like you kind of like get around with it, right? Because it's just so impactful the first turn you surprised by it.
It was a big reason why Red Hair won that turn. I mean, as we mentioned, like that last round only came down to the Sandworm versus the high-level Saber. So if you remove the Saber from the equation, then suddenly you get this type of round, and Flower Fairy strikes back.
But let's see how Red Hair adjusts, because he's going to sell the Saber ostensibly, and then Maybe he'll go deeper into the balls to handle the worms. Oh, another oil. That's massive. Barrier for Flower Fairy. Interesting. It's always funny when you see it on a worm.
It is, yeah. I don't know how good it is though, because usually, like while the worm is underground, there will be some type of units inside of the shield, and that's what the enemy will
Yeah.
be shooting at. So the barrier often just disappears before the worm arrives.
Do you sell the melter? There's no way, right? You wait one round, then you
No,
sell
you
it.
have to keep it for now.
Yeah. So this elite
Okay.
marksman difference could be pretty massive, right? Flower Fairy just doesn't. Oh, Flower Fairy does have it. Never mind. It's assault marksman versus anti-air is the difference on their marksman techs. So that shouldn't matter too much. Double oil across the middle. So just instantly lit on fire. We'll kill a bunch of the fangs and any crawlers. And then he just has the range advantage. So I think this is going to go really well for red hair. He's got the range now on the balls. Got sucked to make sure it connects to the worm. All the bubbles are
Yeah,
coming out.
I think if he manages to get that lock on as he intends, he might be fine. Like that worm was a big part of why he lost last round. And with the fire, you have
Yeah.
to imagine that he will at least be favored this turn.
Yeah. I think he's really favored. Let's see.
Fire gets ignited just the way as intended.
Double oil. You hate to see it.
Yeah, those fangs, they're starting to get there. The range is keeping them outside for some of them, but you start seeing them burn up now.
Oh, the
And
worm goes down.
yeah, the steel balls, I mean, he did need all 3 packs there,
Yeah.
but they managed to get it done.
Melter
So
useless.
indeed, it's going to be Feng here winning the round. Is that going to be enough? There's a lot of marksmen, only 1400 damage required, and
Oof.
that will be enough for game number 1.
Wow. That was a pretty exciting game.
Yeah, we did get to. Yeah, it was interesting that both of them there decide to kind of go for the mirror, and it shows the intricacies of these type of mirrors and what goes into them.
Yep. So red hair with a 1-0 advantage in this best of 3. This is our first series of the day. After this, we're going to have another best of 3 between Sako and Apooche. And then the winner of this and the winner of that will go into the finals. So it's going to be a 501 versus 201 finals today.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. But we've got indeed plenty more action to come.
Yeah, let's see if they switch it up. I I I don't know. Flower Fairy is supposed to be favored in those standard games, but maybe Red Hair is gonna see what just happened and say, I'm just gonna go standard from here on out.
Yeah, he has an interesting playstyle. It's this very tempo heavy thing. Like here again, we see him making these plays, and you kind of scratch your head like, does this work? Like this is not conventional, but it ends up being the right play.
Yeah, I'm gonna start considering this saber tooth regeneration play more often. Honestly, I think that was kind of a game-winning move. I mean, maybe he didn't need it. Maybe he already had some sort of advantage, but I think it was like the nail in the coffin. Like it was such a good gut punch.
Yeah, and if you think about how much it costs Flower Fairy to get back into that game, I mean, you have to unlock a melter, use the deployment, get the range as well. Like you've already
Exactly.
the tech costs, and the unit was way cheaper for you.
Maybe he didn't need range, but yeah, he just was so scared, right? Because it's all or nothing. You really got to kill it. But it did have the laser, so perhaps a small optimization he could have done. But with the stakes being so high, I definitely understand his play.
So maybe it's a good time as well to kind of talk about what's going to be happening with the MAG1 league in the upcoming weeks.
Yes, indeed. So this is just our first season here. It's sort of like a test run to see how it goes. We're very happy with how it's gone. We have only 8 players in season 1, and we plan to expand that into 16. So there'll be 4 groups instead of 2 groups like there was this time. Um, Next week, we are going to be taking a break while we reset ourselves. And of course, it's going to be Christmas time and everything like that. But just after Christmas, 2 Saturdays from now, on the 28th, mark your calendar because we're going to have a little one off tournament calling it the MAG1 Christmas Classic. Details for that to come. I don't even know them myself. And then in the new year, still on Saturdays, we're going to be starting season 2. And again, more info on that to come, but just to let you guys know what's happening. And on that note, please drop a follow if you don't mind to this channel because this is where all the action's going to be happening. Most of the time, it's going to be on Saturdays. So hopefully, we can get you back here in the future.
Sounds exciting. You've got my follow. I'm looking forward to all of this.
Yeah, yeah, I'm super excited.
With that being said, we're 10 seconds away now from the next game starting. Will Flower Fairy be able to equalize things and send this to game 3, or will Red Hair simply say, I don't think so, I'm going straight to finals in 2?
Let's see. Let's see who snap picks. That'll tell you their confidence level. No snap picks. All right, they're thinking about it.
No snap picks. There we go.
All right, I saw a supply. That's for red hair. That he was supply last game as well. Flower. Oh, it's the same matchups. There you go. I mean, they are
How'd
pretty.
they manage that?
Yeah,
That's insane.
and
Although
balls
last
again,
time,
right? So
yeah,
red
but
hairs is the
now
same.
he's yeah, Red Hairs is the exact same. Flower Fairy doesn't have the arc lights this time, starts with fangs instead, but you gotta imagine that he will be picking up arcs.
Hmm. I feel like in the back of my head as Flower Fairy here, I'd be like, dang it, I just lost this exact. I mean, slightly different, but you know.
It might
Yeah.
it might impact his decision making.
And this like new mind games that I feel like the 201s are sort of revolutionizing with the balls being either standard or not standard makes it really uncertain how you position. I think it doesn't really matter here because like with standard you just cookie cutter position the same, but you can do micro optimizations, right? Like you could put a Fang higher up or something. But it is indeed going to be aggro, almost like a kind of a conservative aggro from red hair here.
It's different from what we saw though, so it's changing things up.
Yeah, we will see how this works out for him. I would
You have a
say balls
couple.
have a good chance at the start to win this round
They
one.
do. I mean, especially without the arc light start here, it's a tough round for Flower Fairy. Opting to go for the crawlers instead, they'll be useful down the line, but knowing that he won't have the chaff clear, and that's something that we'll have to see coming out in the next
Yeah,
turn.
it's pretty hard to beat 3 arc lights. Like arc lights
It
are just like
is.
the best round one unit, I feel, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, they're very strong.
Not a big
Couple
win here.
Yeah, I mean, a couple straggler crawlers there getting the debuff helping out, but it ends up being a Feng win. Importantly, Steel Ball's not leveling up just yet, so that does help out Flower Fairy in his defense.
There are some spells here. I think Shield Airdrop is kind of the juiciest one, but neither player opts for it. Just want the
Yeah,
economy. That is a fast arc light range. Dang.
that is a
And the
very
crawler
early
level.
Arclight.
What
Wow.
the hell?
I mean, the crawler level makes sense to me.
But does he have money
If
for the crawler level? I guess he does, yeah.
I mean, he's faster than me for sure with his calculations.
Yeah, I
Plus
guess
another
this
arc
play
lights in the
worked.
time.
But look
Oh,
at
and
this walk.
they've played one another in the past. Like you know that this was coming out.
Yeah,
Putting
this
that fang
feels
there.
scripted. Yeah.
But the wasps actually will win out.
Yeah.
They do beat same level Fang Pack.
Yeah, so a guaranteed round win for Flower Fairy here, but it could be a small one if the ground army of red hair just crushes.
And it should, in all honesty.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big
Getting
power
to
spike.
tower here.
Having this arc light range. Balls will maybe level here. They're very close.
Oh, there's a couple. There's still a Stormcaller pack left, and they do shine whenever the enemy units clump up. The wasps that survive now taking the other tower.
Oh. Yeah, decent damage, actually.
I didn't see the steel balls glow golden, so I think they did not level up.
Yeah, I don't think so. Now the Typhoon gets... Oh, it did level up.
Oh, it did. Yeah, the other one is close.
Juicy drops here.
Immediate Mustang purchase for Feng.
Yeah, makes sense. Pairs well with the balls. What's good defensive here for you? Do you like the sledge?
Yeah. I think like against steel balls, sledge is almost always part of the answer.
Yeah, it's really solid. I wonder if he'll buy more of them.
Yeah, you have to be a bit careful too, because if you overinvest into these types of things, you do become vulnerable to even things like hackers. Um,
Yeah. Those
but
for
the one sledgehammer
phoenixes.
should
I
provide a lot of defensive power.
do like the phoenixes because they are good against the arc lights.
It provides more solid single target DPS, which Flower Fairy was kind of missing. Like the Stormcallers can do it, but relying on the enemy units clumping up is not always going to be a surefire way to win. So I like this as well.
Yeah, I think as Flower Fairy, you have to know the Mustang was chosen, right? Because there's a wasp on the battlefield, and he has no
It
anti-air other than one fang.
it makes a lot of sense as well with the steel balls.
Yeah,
Very
exactly.
common like play for aggro players is to go for that Mustang ball and then eventually transition into something like Mustang Fortress.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely on the table.
And this unit packs a punch. Level 1 Mustangs, you know, kind of whatever. Level 3 Mustangs, however,
Yeah,
completely different ballpark.
absolutely. It feels so much nicer that you can actually like kill an arc light in 2 seconds instead of being stuck on it forever and then the arc light kills you.
They do, however, need range, and they don't have range this turn, so it's a big round from Flower Fairy. The sledge is providing
Yeah,
excellent defense. That's a big
that was
turn.
huge. Yeah, that was really, really huge. No big levels to speak of, but still really good tempo. Instant amp core for both. I think that feels okay. I really don't like this wasp play, but maybe it'll work. Like he could have put it on a level 3 sledge, man. Like that would have been insane.
Typhoon is sitting there, and the sledge is sitting there. Like, come on, man. Like, the opponent already
Yeah.
has the leveled Mustangs. Like, give up the Wasps.
Wow, I really dislike this play, but we'll see. I mean, he didn't know this Mustang would be here, obviously, but maybe red hair was always going to add that to kind of. I feel like you should always secure your middle versus wasp. You know, you secure your left, your right, and your
Yeah,
middle. You know.
yeah. Red Hair, though, is being very greedy here with the positioning. No chaff in front. Could you imagine, like,
Yeah.
if he did put a missile there? Ooh, would be juicy, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. Wow, this looks really bad for Flower Fairy, but we'll see. He's getting lots more
Well,
phoenixes.
yeah. I mean, last round looked really good, right? So he does have some room to maneuver and make plays.
Yep.
Mustangs have range this turn. Some
Wait,
wasps are getting through here. Like
wait,
they're
wait.
tanky. They're running away.
How many hits is it to get the tower?
Oh, only one Mustang. It works.
Incredible,
That's
incredible.
insane.
I'm sorry for doubting. But the amp core, I guess you can still get the amp core if you need to. You can still rescue it, so. If it works, it works.
What a round there.
It's honestly a
And
callback
showing.
to the amp core on the Wasp versus Sako in the Group A. He crushed
Yeah,
Sako with that.
yeah.
Maybe that's his
I mean, he
signature move.
did. He won like 4 rounds against me in the same group with the jump drive wasps as well. Like, it's a strong unit if you use it well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now it gets sold.
Yeah, I like that because there's Mustangs everywhere, right? And you gotta put that on the sledge. Come on, man, it's so good. Although now we have a big scorpion, so just kidding. Put it on the
Yeah.
scorpion.
Well, Red Arrow going for the Scorpion himself and already deciding to range it really has the tech advantage here. If you look at the board for Flower
Yeah,
Fairy, there was nothing teched until this round. Suddenly a Vulcan shows up.
yeah. Instant range as well. Both players are very instantly committing to their techs here, which is really good tempo. I do like the Vulcan, but like I think it needs Scorch sooner than later, and it's really hard to cover all of the board here, so I'm not super sure about it. Like this looks good
I
for red hair, I think.
Yeah, I do like it as a. I don't think Flower Fairy has many other chaff clear options because he doesn't have those arc lights at the start.
Yeah.
So Vulcan seems like the only other option, and it does have a lot of good techs here potentially. You talk about the Scorch, um, Incendiary Bomb could also be really useful.
Yeah.
It's doing a good job. It's having a grand time on the right side of the board there, eating through those Mustangs, and those are leveled and they give away a lot of experience. So this might be a level 2
Oh,
Vulcan. It
holy
is.
instant leveling Vulcan. That is a rare sight, but it just crushed the round.
That's rough to deal with next turn because it's managed to dodge that big Scorpion too.
Yeah, level plus Scorch would just completely melt the entire right side of the board.
And while it's managed to dodge it for the start of the round, it does have to deal with it now. And yeah, this Scorpion does not take prisoners.
And we have one pesky Feng.
But I think you'll take that if you're Flower Fairy because you're making the transition here into those Vulcans. Takes away a bit of tempo, losing a round and 300 hit points.
Yeah, that was huge.
Not
And
too bad.
intensive here is really good.
Okay.
Who do you
All
think
right.
it's better for? I think it's better for Flower Fairy.
I think so too, yeah. I mean, he made a level 3 Vulcan with
Yeah.
Scorch.
7,000
Never mind about that
DPS on it.
Phoenix DPS. Like, this is just a
Yeah.
Vulcan comp now.
The balls
The
are
Phoenixes
just
are air
nothing now.
chaff. Yeah, this feels really bad for the ball player.
What do you even do? I mean, I would start selling them right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing you can do is try and get into Fortress, but that right Vulcan is going to even melt level 1 Fortresses. I don't think it cares about a 40k shield if it comes out.
Yeah, maybe I would try like Melter or a Blue War Factory or something, but yeah, this just looks really dicey.
The thing as well is that Flower Fairy has plenty of hit points remaining, so even if there's cheese plays available, like, I don't know, like an Armor Factory, if Feng runs it, you're not going to be able to kill the opponent with it. So
Yeah.
you have to play something that'll win in the long term.
Absolutely. Yeah, maybe he just tries Scorpions, but this is gonna be rough. He did take Suck on the balls. I think that is extremely copium, but I do understand the appeal.
I don't. Look, I'm
Yeah.
all for silver linings, but I think you just got to bite the bullet in this one. Those you could have armor on those. It would not change a thing versus this Vulcan.
Yeah.
It's a cheap tech though, so it's not the worst, but
Yeah, it's still some amount of HP and tank ability, but I don't think you're actually gonna like get value from the absorption part of it, you know?
yeah. Oh, you're never locking on. That is not happening. Orbital Javelin shows up, picked up here for Feng.
Maybe a chance for him to get in on the tower, which is what he needs, because that's the only way you can take down this raid boss is with a debuff.
But he's beaconing away from the side that he's jabbing, so well, the Scorpion remains.
He must be trying to dodge the javelin, I guess. Right?
Yeah, but I mean, what are you? Okay, yeah, Melter comes out now, but
Yeah.
this just feels suboptimal. Going into Scorpion with range and then having to go into Melter. There are two units that
Yeah.
kind of do the same thing.
Definitely agree. Maybe he just should have stuck to one, right? Like, I do like the
Yeah.
Melter. I think he's acknowledged that, like, the Scorpion can be enough, though, right? Like, if you get a lock-on with Acid or Double Shot.
Yeah,
So,
the thing that's rough, I think, is that Scorpions outrange Mustangs, so the Mustangs will always get in front, and Vulcan does not mind shooting at Mustangs.
yeah.
So even though like the acid combo is fantastic with Mustang, it's still an awkward matchup.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, let's see how this one Melter does, because I think he has a really important job here.
Scorpion on the left was leveled, so it survives the Javelin. One Vulcan down with the Stormcallers on the left from Flower Fairy. But that Vulcan, oh, it is just eating through Feng's army there. And the Mustangs arrive and they get fed into the Vulcan. The Melter's locked on, but it's going to be too little too late, you have to feel.
Yeah. I mean, a decent little cleanup, but yeah, it's still a lot of damage.
And that's just going to be game. Feng
Oh
too
my
low on hit
gosh.
points.
What was the winning move there, do you think, for Flower Fairy? Was it the Vulcan, or did it come
What
earlier?
it had, I mean, that Vulcan was just huge. The sledgehammers arguably added a lot of tempo as well because the Mustangs were added, and those level 3 sledges just did not care the turn they came out.
Yeah.
So I think that, and then obviously the Vulcan got fortunate there with the intensive afterwards, but I think even the level 2 Vulcan would have been enough.
Yeah, maybe he went too far into the balls, red hair.
Yeah,
Maybe that's the concern,
it's
right?
it's a cheap tech, so is 250 going to make a difference? Selling out of the steel balls. I mean, he might have had like 600 more resources, maybe. Um,
Yeah.
but it's tough. Like, I think you have to go Melter. I'm not sure I trust Scorpion to do the trick here. It's a tough one.
Yeah, and he doesn't run armor on the balls, so you can't really lean into them versus a Vulcan, so pretty much have to sell out.
It also doesn't work that well. In my experience, like armored steel balls into Scourge Vulcans, if the Vulcans are the same
Mm,
level, they don't really care. Like the two techs kind of cancel each other out.
yeah, it makes sense. You probably need like a 1 or 2 level advantage,
Yeah.
which is why
And
it's
then
such a
even
big
if
deal when Vulcans level like that, right? Like
Yep.
instant level was just ridiculous.
We haven't seen it that much, to be fair. It's not been a defense that has been showing up a lot, but it packs a punch. And speaking of that patch that we got, the
Hmm.
Vulcans did get that damage buff, so that might have
Oh
helped
yeah,
out there.
that is true. All right, so we're tied up 1-1, so everything's on the line now. Though the winner here goes into the finals.
And a great pairing. I mean, it goes to 3 games, so these two players are neck and neck.
Yep. And unsurprisingly, Flower Fairy standard both times and Red Hair mixing it up. He's a known hybrid player with, in my opinion, the best aggro for a 201 player. I'm not sure if you'd agree with that, but
Ooh. Yeah, I think I would tend to agree.
yeah,
There aren't that many aggro players anymore in 201.
yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of competition for him, but but like
Nah, but
his,
he's very solid.
yeah, it's like as good as 501. I mean, it's just as good as 501, if not better, right? Because he's one of the best players of all time. So obviously, even his weakest style is going to be up there with the greats.
For sure. And when we look at that sheet that we have, maximum MMR, it goes to Feng with 25, 22 this season.
There you go. We've been saying that Flower Fairy is like the MMR god, but only 2411. Maybe he has an alternative
Only
count.
2411.
Well, nowadays there are people with like 2550 plus. I like there's one guy who has
Yeah,
like
but
2570. It's like, what the hell? It's all relative for sure. 2400 is still extremely strong. And it's all about how you perform in tournaments as well, right?
it is, yeah. I mean, we can look at Apooche, for instance, does not necessarily play as much as the others, but has far more tournament badges to show for than some of these players we can see here today.
For
So,
sure.
is it about MMR? Is it about tournament performance?
Yeah, exactly. All
Round
right, no
3.
snap picks.
We get the
Typhoon
new
again.
specialist there. Amp Core specialist.
Please, please, please. I don't know if it's a good pack for it though.
I mean, it's Stormcallers. I don't think Flower Fairy can say no to that.
It is probably his favorite pack, right? I mean, maybe he picks Rhino? Yeah, he goes for
Oh, come on.
it.
It
Alright.
looks good. It's got 3
Well,
tiny amp cores. It's got, like, what's not to like?
there's so much on the line, so I don't know if he would wanna risk it, you know? They've only had, like, 1 day to practice with these new units. This new SBC, sorry, right? So
True, but I mean, you just jam them on a unit that you like and just see if it works out. Like, don't need to think too hard.
So Typhoon being used once again, definitely one of the best SPCs, and he's got balls again, and it looks like this time he's back to behind the tower.
It was more effective, did win the first round with those standard steel ball setup, but that was symmetrical, so he's mixing it up yet again. We get standard, but asymmetrical standard.
Yeah, very interesting. Goes for the marksmans again. Hmm.
This might be another one of those marksman games with the shooting squad.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's just a very strong strategy in standard, just basically in general, right? And there's a lot of good payoffs as well. Like there's a bunch of good marksman cards, like smart marksman, subsidized marksman, stuff like that.
Not going for any chaff clear though is a little bit sus, I would say.
Yeah, why do you reckon he did that? Is it, you know, it probably mind games. It's probably like Flower Fairy could have just not built any chaff, right?
Yeah, but into steel balls?
I mean, you can kind of DPS the steel balls down with this type of pack, but I do agree it's like kind of sus. But that has to be my read on why he would choose to
Yeah.
build marksman.
Either way, that's the first round going over to Flower Fairy, and we can look at the HP totals here.
Yeah.
Flower Fairy has a lot to work with, and Red Hair losing already down to 3,600.
Yeah, definitely feeling the pressure. I mean, everything's on the line, and with extended range marksman, I do like this for Red Hair now. He's feeling great. He can go for the shooting squad plan. He's got the, I mean, we saw how important it was to have more marksmen than your opponent on the first game, but still no chaff clear. So I don't know if he's just planning to lose a bunch of tempo, but set up for a strong late
I
game.
mean, look, if you buy enough marksmen, then they can function as your chaff clear.
It's like actually true. Like I've seen mass-produced phoenixes get spammed. I mean that you get twice as many bodies with that, but like I've seen that actually work. He's gonna
If
get
you
some
run quick
lock-ons
reload,
here.
it's sometimes even better.
Yep, that's true.
And perhaps he was reading into the fact that Flower Fairy might try and go into marksman himself. We saw that willingness of both players to go into the mirror in game one. Knowing that only 2 crawler packs, maybe it's manageable.
Yep, but the crawlers are definitely an issue on this round.
Yeah, they don't seem to agree with that line of thinking. And they will pick up the round. And that's already, it's round 2. And Feng is down to sub 3k.
Yeah, these guys play standard differently, that's for sure.
Underground Threat, you gotta imagine, is an insta-pick. Such a strong spell.
Yeah, there is ER Vulcan. It's not as good as it used to be, but oh,
Ooh.
it is picked. I mean, there's his chaff clear. Maybe he was just really smart to wait for his Typhoon, and now he's even got Vulcans.
So more marksmen being picked up yet again.
Hmm.
He does have 300 left available, and there we go. It is the instant shooting squad. And the Fangs, with the crawler nerf to their hit points that we saw not too long ago, might be able
Yeah.
to help out with that chaff gear.
Yeah, I could see this being a power spike where he has potential to win. I mean, there is a spell this round for Flower Fairy up here.
Yeah.
So maybe that gets in the
It's in
round. We'll
a...
have to wait and see.
I mean, I can't imagine that Red Hair's board will be able to dispatch of that.
Yeah, maybe like he'll win the main battle, but yeah, I do agree. Pretty rough.
Crawlers there, going for the steel balls. They will get slowed down a bit, but none of these units are made to deal with this amount of crawlers. Although they're getting pulled towards the marksman here.
Yeah, not
Instead
the
of
worst.
going for the tower. But the main fight is going towards Flower Fairy by the looks of it. Typhoon doing a good job of tanking.
Yeah. Looks like Flower Fairy is going to get the round, but what's coming up next is the most important because Red Hair is going to be transitioning into a Vulcan board now with this extended range Vulcan card that he took last round. And we have a Rhino from the Rhino SBC. That's going to be a big power spike. We'll see if he sells it or not. There are balls on the board.
A lot of
But only on one
deployments this
side.
turn.
Yeah, this is just a crazy turn. I think a lot of the match will be decided here, especially with Red Hair being on so little HP.
It's a
Storms are no
Stormcaller pickup.
surprise. Yeah, I like that. Seems like
I
the
feel
best
it's
thing.
not bad for Feng either.
Yeah. everybody picks it.
Do
The
you sell out the
Rhino,
Typhoon here?
I mean,
Or do you
you
sell
can
the Steel Balls?
you can ask me that like every game, and I'll say yes in standard. Although, yeah, the steel ball.
Yeah,
I
one
feel
of
like
the Steel Balls already got sold.
you know the Rhino's either being sold or it's gonna be on the right side of the board. Therefore, the ball is like never useful, right? So
Yeah.
I would
I
sell the
mean, the
ball. Yeah.
Typhoon can be a nice placeholder for a Vulcan as well, but never mind. It's just more marksman, because why not?
Then why did he spend the money on the ER Vulcan?
Look, it's going to be bought at some point, maybe.
Hmm. Next game, maybe.
Well, he has to make sure he stabilizes, because he's getting dangerously close to kill territory. I mean, it's small units on both sides, so maybe it is less scary than it might appear.
Yeah. So did he sell anything? He sold the ball, or was that last round?
Yeah, no, he sold that last round, so he didn't sell anything.
Kind of bizarre. I guess he likes the ball. Maybe just because the Rhino's around.
I mean, it's doing a decent job tanking,
Yeah.
trying to
Not the
look for a
worst.
silver lining.
Yep. Yep. Does he get the Rhino?
Rhino
Oh,
does go down in time. The marksman here, overwhelming in force. There's even a couple fangs left alive, so the shooting squad is starting to show its value.
yep. With the oil on the ground, maybe we'll see that this extended range Vulcan come out.
It started the Herculean task of chipping away at those hit points, because Flower Fairy still has plenty.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that's a no-brainer to take this
Ooh,
super supply. A little
that's
more risky for red hair, but
it
he goes
is,
for it.
yeah. I mean, it's going to start paying off on round 8, so we'll have to take a
Yeah.
look at how these next rounds are going to go.
Yeah, let's see if
More
we get this
marksmen
Vulcan.
still. Nope. 2
Uh,
deployments already used. That's range on the marksman, and then 2 more marksmen.
yeah, I guess like super supply was a lot of his money for that turn. He sold the ball. That makes sense.
And we get range as well on the marksman here from Flower Fairy. Another mirror, very similar to game 1.
This is so weird.
The balls have been sold.
I mean, it feels like red hair just like has more stuff just looking at the board. I don't know. His army just like looks bigger.
I mean, he just has more marksmen, right? And all the marksmen spawn fangs.
These crawlers might be really strong here though. There's no
Doing a
answer
good
for them.
job on the right. I guess that's
Chaff.
what's so strong about this as well. Like, not having that much chaff to start with from Flower Fairy means that this type of play is way more playable.
Yeah, it's looking good. He's getting red hair even lower now. He's definitely feeling, maybe he's regretting the super supply. It's hard to say. Could be all part of his plan. Wow, you can get those for free?
You
That's a
just
thing?
wait. That's what we were waiting for.
Didn't even know that was allowed.
We get a bit of a difference though. Both of them do pick them up, but again, Red Hair does have that extended range Vulcan. Flower Fairy does not. Red Hair opting to go for the range, whereas Flower Fairy goes for the incendiary bomb.
Yeah, a bit of an oil difference too, and I think that this fire could be extremely strong because it will light the Stormcallers on fire. And I think the Stormcallers have been doing work. I'm clicking on them and pretty low damage, so maybe not.
Going Shielded Fang into the incendiary bomb turn though.
Yeah, pretty unlucky. I mean, it's a good tech, but it might perform really weakly here.
Feng smells blood or some shenanigans, does opt to go for the barriers this turn. And loans, both players loaning in fact. Temp range has been clicked.
So basically, Flower Fairy is doing it because he wants to close out the game, or he just doesn't want to lose and get behind on experience. Because he has no HP pressure, so he would never be doing it to keep himself alive. Well, let's see if the ER makes a big difference, because only red hair has that, right?
No, both of them have the. I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
the
the ER
Vulcan.
Vulcans, but both of them have the ER Marksman.
Yep, yep. Yeah, let's
The
see. I mean
fire
that.
for now. Oh, it does launch right before the death of the Vulcan.
Oh my gosh. And that's just insane value.
I mean, look at all those marksmen burning up. Oof.
Very painful.
It might be too late, though, to be able to close out the game here. Feng able to at least clear most of those Vulcans.
Well, he definitely can't lose any more rounds, that's for sure.
Oh,
26 HP.
26 hit points.
Oh, can you imagine the pressure you feel right now as red hair? You have to deal 4,700 damage. Oh my
Improved
god.
Wasp there, one of my favorite cards, but not being picked up.
Yep. I mean, it's good with a lot of fire on the ground, but there's a lot of fangs as well, I guess, and a million marksmen. So who took the bubble card there? Looks like Flower Fairy took it.
Yep.
It's a very, very strong card in Standard, because you need to bubble like every round late game. So I'm kind of surprised that red hair didn't take it.
I guess he's feeling the pressure here. Maybe he did the math, but perhaps not planning to go for a shield this turn.
Yeah, that would be my guess. Although, against the Vulcan Incendiary, it's a little scary, but I guess he has the Chaff up front, so no initial fire on his board.
The underground threat available yet again as well, and the way it's being positioned there, it could cause some trouble for Feng.
Yeah, that looks really strong, making everything turn around.
Give
It's just one
range.
of the best spells in the game for that reason, right? You can just distract a whole enemy board and sometimes cause friendly fire as well.
Yeah, it's about like 2 packs of crawlers, I think. And for that cost, with that cooldown,
Yeah.
anywhere on the board, pretty much.
Yeah. Really, really
Hard
good.
to say no. Yeah, and it is causing a lot of distraction there. The Vulcan in the middle kind of gets locked up, though, from Flower Fairy. But these missiles are landing in very important positions there, especially in the middle. Again, burning up some of the marksmen and stormcallers.
Oh. Yeah, the fire ended up being really, really good. The incendiary bombs.
Yep. It's a close fight still, though. Pretty much come down to just the marksman now. But the
Bigger
debuff
levels
comes
though.
through. And
Oh.
because of the debuff, Flower Fairy will just about take the final round and close out this first best of 3.
Wow. I can't believe we had like a run back of the first game there to close it out. If it was a bit less fancy, I would say, a little bit more just like literally spamming marksmans, but yeah, pretty crazy styles by both of them there. I feel like both players are very deserving to make it to the finals, but you got to give it to Flower Fairy. He played really well, really consistent, and looked pretty good there in the final game. So congrats to him to making it to the finals. So that concludes our first series of the day. We'll be moving on now to our 501 series. It's going to be Apooche versus Sako coming up. We're just going to be getting these players in now. Who do you think is the favorite here, Rooster?
Oh, that's a tough question you're asking me.
Yep.
Um, I mean, Sako has been performing better on ladder, I would say. Although Apooche also is oftentimes streaming while playing, so that might impact the way that he plays on stream. Off stream, he's the one that has had the most success in both in-game tournaments and especially in tournaments organized outside of the game.
Yep.
So it can go both ways here. Look, I'm just going to make a decision because I don't want to be like the hedging Sally and be like, well, it depends. So I'm going to side with the Poochie just because I'm going to say it is a tournament, so gotta give it to the tournament king himself.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, let's remember, Apooche is the one who won his group in first place, beating out. Who did he beat out? He beat out Red Hair, B-Man, and Dillo. So obviously, those are no slouches. getting in first, really impressive. Because Sako, he only got second. He kind of struggled to get through his group, in fact, losing his first game immediately to Flower Fairy, who's now in the finals.
Yeah, and even taking it to a best of 3 against this Rooster guy, I mean, doesn't look good. I mean,
Oof.
don't wanna have that on your resume.
Yeah, so anything can happen here. I feel with our previous matchup, we were a little bit more certain, like Flower Fairy is going to do standard, right? With this, both players are very flexible, especially for 501ers, I would say. Like Apooche and Sako both do play standard. I would
They do.
say what would you say who would you say prefers aggro and who would you say prefers standard?
I think Apooche prefers aggro. If we just look at recent history, Sacco has been playing a lot of standard, kind of taking notes, I think, from the 201 region as well. We've seen him play standard against the likes of Flower Fairy before. Um, and he's been playing things like Spawn Factory in the last couple weeks and taking some tournament wins with it as well. But he is obviously a solid aggro player as well. But I just think that if one of them will play standard or defensive, it'll be Sacco. If one of them will be playing aggro and we don't get a headbutt, it'll probably be Apooche.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I'd really love to see a headbutt from them too, because they are both extremely good in headbutts. And of course, 501 players are kind of naturally good at headbutts. So, like, we could get a really exciting game using like all four quadrants of the board and flanks and stuff. So, I'm sure we'll get at least one of those in this best of three.
Let's say I would be very surprising if these games look anything like the best of 3 we just saw.
Yeah. I didn't even know that type of game could exist. Like, that was some weird games. I need to be grounded now with some 501 games that I can actually
We need
understand.
some all units on the line type of action here.
Yep.
Well, here we go.
If Typhoon is picked here, that SBC is broken because it just never got skipped so far. Just putting that out there.
I mean, it is. On aggro, it is
Oh
probably the
my
best strat.
god. Take notes.
But it is a bit of an awkward starter for it, I guess. Like, it's not necessarily the units you'd like to pair them up with.
Yeah, the Typhoon has no, like, benefit unless you're doing aggro storms, but I mean, like, an SBC that gives you, like, 300 money is really good.
It's on turn 3 as well. I mean, we have Rhino Spectre sitting in the corner like, "Hello?"
Yeah, yeah. Like, a Rhino is probably better than a Typhoon, so, like, it's sort of fair balance, but yeah.
It's higher tempo, yeah. A bit
Yeah.
harder to deal with, but
Yep. Alright.
Snacko going for the Mustang pack
Yeah. Um Yeah,
with
maybe he just likes
supply
the
spec.
supply. Yeah, it's interesting.
This is a scary thing, though, and we do get a headbutt here. Aggro Storms.
He hasn't locked in yet. He might retreat. Let's see.
Oh, and Sacco here going for the sneaky moves. Going for that
Hmm.
cheese round 1 with the Phoenixes being purchased.
Actually, really like that because I think you are extremely doomed here otherwise.
Yeah,
And
these Arclights are pretty happy with what they're going to be facing.
yeah, I think he's gonna lose the ground extremely hard. Phoenixes will pick up like basically all the experience. Mustangs are gonna get like almost no experience, so like it could be a rough game. I think a lot of this is gonna come down to the cards on the next round.
On the other hand, I'm not sure how useful the storms will be. Somehow they are staring directly at crawlers. I mean, I don't know how they've
Yeah.
managed this, but
Yeah, they're getting sold for sure. Well, we got a headbutt, ladies and gentlemen.
we sure do. And Arclight's there going down straight away. It's quite good, I would say, for Sacco. It means
Yep.
that these Phoenixes won't have to deal with as many crawlers.
Do they level, do you think?
No, I don't think so. Phoenixes actually have quite a high ceiling at 1300, much higher than most
Mm.
200 cost units.
Yeah, seriously. It's usually like
Yeah,
1000-ish.
spiders and sledges after the recent nerf are sitting at 1000, but Phoenix is 1300.
Yeah, so no level.
Whoa,
Mustang
improved
item.
firepower control, yeah. I mean, the early matchup
Yeah.
might not be that good, but it's a nice item.
Yeah. feel like that's the only pick here. I don't think Phantom Rays are good in headbutts, right?
I mean, I
So I
don't
don't.
think extended range Phantom Ray is that good either.
Yeah, like nobody thinks that card is good.
Because it kind of works against its best tech being stealth. Um, and the tankiness is kind of one of the core traits as well, I would say.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah. Saying
Sacco's
it's
thinking
not good
about
with
this though.
it's not good with stealth, huh?
Yeah, the range is just, I mean, giving them range means that they'll be shooting at more stuff, so they'll be out of stealth for longer.
Oh yeah, yeah, makes sense.
We get a Wraith. I mean, it is the quintessential headbutt king.
Yep, supply SPC affording some nice money here for Sako. The Phoenix, though, for Apooche, definitely going to be useful. Could have been a read on his part, or maybe he just wants anti-air against the Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the things that would be good against Phoenix typically would also be good against Wraith.
Yeah, but we'll see. It might not be able to get the job done in the first round.
Apooche here, by the way, did pick up that improved firepower control system as well, but has not opted to use it just yet.
Yeah, maybe he's storing it for his Typhoon, I guess.
Phoenix is doing a fantastic job there, though. Complete turnaround from round one. And again, we got to look at these hit points. Both of them not starting with that much. And in headbutts, this can go very, very quickly.
Yeah. Here we go. 3 Rhinos, pretty spicy. Wasp is more air and anti-air if players want more of that. Don't know if the sledges are pickable. Like, they're pretty good tanks against, like, the Wraiths, for example.
Yeah, I wonder how this works in aggro, because in defense, sledgehammers are great against Wraith as well, especially if you run something like field maintenance, but
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like it is pickable. Is that a sell? I know I keep saying this every time a Saber is picked, but, like, is
it
a
is a
Saber
sell,
actually
but
good
not
here?
the Saber. The two Mustangs have disappeared.
Wow, and on the other side of things, Apooche not selling his Storms is very surprising to me. Don't you agree?
Yeah, they haven't. I mean, we can look at the stats on this middle Stormcaller, and it is just sad. Not even 2k damage dealt last turn. I would instantly get rid of those.
Yeah, would you say this is, like, maybe nerfs from Apooche?
I don't know. Um, it's hard to judge this.
Yeah, well, let's see how the Saber does. It looks like it's lined up to do some pretty good damage here, and it's got the Wraith buddy, so should be shooting good shots.
The awkward bit as well here is that he's got 3 Rhinos. Like, he's going to be really struggling if he wants to sell any of these units.
Yeah, that's true. The cell tempo is pretty brutal. And one of the Rhinos did absolutely nothing. The other one's on the tower. That might be helpful.
Yeah, that will be enough DPS to get rid of it in a timely manner, and so the Phoenixes here should still come out on top against the Wraith.
Yeah, looks like he will get the round.
Wraith
But,
already had range.
hmm. Yeah, interesting. You don't necessarily get that super quick in a headbutt, though it still is sometimes very good. Absorption module,
Ooh.
very good item here, especially for Sako. Quick teleport also extremely relevant, I would say.
Yeah, quick teleport could be good, but indeed, the absorption module on a Wraith, I don't think you can turn down.
Yeah, I agree. And jump drive being used to head on that Rhino. I do like that. It's a good use of resources. Maybe he feels his deploys are really important.
It shows a bit of a difference between the techs here as well. Jump drive, not something that we've seen being played by that many players. It used to be very common, but after the nerfs, players like Apooche, as we can see, opting not to tech it.
Yeah, that's what happens when you change something's cost by 50. Sometimes that's enough for players to just say, "No, I'm done with that tech."
Yep.
Look at this
And then on top
flank.
of things, his flank.
That is a
Whoa.
spicy one.
That is a spicy flank, yeah. Phoenix and Typhoon, but again, no jump drive available, so if and when this gets countered,
Yeah.
it's more stuff where it's like, there's a lot of things that you could see Apooche wanting to sell, but he can only sell so many things a turn.
Yeah, crazy. Still no self button for Apooche, right?
Nope.
That is so
Rhinos
weird
have
to
been
me.
kept. Stormcallers are still there.
This is so crazy.
It's working out, though.
Yeah. I'm kind of shocked at what I'm looking at.
Especially against Wraith, the fact that there's still crawlers left alive.
I mean, it's just so much damage on the board right now. This is insane.
And that level 2 pack just glowed with gold. So that's a level 3 pack of Phoenixes and Sacco down to sub 1k on turn 5.
Why is this going so badly for Sako, do you think?
I think he's just kind of lacking damage.
Yeah.
Especially on the left side, like the Wraith are not leveling, and sadly it's very close, but that does make a difference in being able to get rid of these Typhoons in a timely manner, being able to get rid of
Yeah.
the Rhino as well. Um,
Makes sense, yeah. Yeah, that's tricky to fix then. Like, definitely 8 arms would be nice, but it's a very expensive tech, and like he doesn't have levels on his wraiths.
yeah, I think that's just a crucial part here. If he got a level or two on the Wraith a bit earlier, it would have likely changed the outcome. But instead, it's been the Phoenixes here running the show from Apooche, and we get a Javelin there. Sacco kind of expecting it, but I'm not sure this Wraith is going to be fast enough.
No, I don't think so. He had to run left, right? Maybe then there's a chance. He would like temp
Yeah,
speed.
left would have been doable, but
Yeah, very difficult situation for him. We do have a good javelin as well. Oh no, that's the rhino drops. Excuse me. I don't know how well that rhino drop will do.
oh, I think it'll do. I mean, these units will be moving, but it can kill all of those units if it hits them.
I don't think they're moving, right? Typhoon and the Phoenix, they're in range.
Oh yeah, the crawlers that got
They
added.
might
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they might bump into each other though. We'll have to see. The rhino does not have enough HP to kill everything, right?
No, it does.
One Phoenix left, okay. Unless it missed it.
It didn't hit it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a pretty amazing use of the rhino assault there. That's for sure.
It is, yeah, but well, if we then turn our attention back to the main fight.
Everything died in like 2 seconds. What the hell? Phoenix is
Yep.
OP. Like what? Uh, just yeah, crazy. And he still has
It
all the storms,
is.
by the way.
Yeah, the storms are. They're getting the tower.
Well, that's it. That was a really
That's
weird and
simply
fast
it.
game.
That's about as quick as you'll get it. Round 5, and the Wraith just not getting things done.
Yeah,
And I
that's
kind of wonder if maybe this round 1 cheese play came to bite Sacco. You've got to
certainly
wonder
yeah.
whether or not Apooche would have gone for the Phoenix. Maybe he would have either way, but he was forced into getting some type of anti-air, and
Mhm.
Phoenix happens to be great into that Wraith as well. And it did fantastic on round 2. Wraith is expensive as well. Sacco is not an aerial spec, so
Yeah.
yeah, I think that came to bite him.
Yeah, that's a really good thing you pointed out. Because, like, think about the economics, right? You pay 50 to unlock it, you lose 50 for not deploying an extra unit, so that's already 100. And then you pay the jump drive, so that's 200. And then you can already ask the question, like, is Phoenix even good anyways, right? Like, maybe it wasn't even a good unit. So, massive inefficiency. Race never got the levels. I'm just shocked that it went that badly considering the storms were terrible. Like, that's a
Oh,
lot of
I'm
assets as well.
I'm right there with you. Yeah, like we can try and find some reasons, but that was also just simply faster than anyone could expect.
Yeah, super, super weird game.
But that's the nature of headbutts as well.
Yeah,
Like one moment you'll think you'll be fine, next moment you're just hard losing.
for sure. Yeah, crazy stuff. Like the three rhinos were definitely good. I mean, like one of the rhinos was bad, but the other two seemed totally fine. And then like, how often do you see a typhoon in a phoenix flank in that manner? And it worked super well.
I'd be interested to see though if Sacco right now wants to slow things down a bit. Again, I do think that out of the two of them, he's the one that would be most willing to play defensive.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he should, honestly. Like his tournament life is on the line. I think if he sees a starting pack that's like pretty high HP and like defensive units, maybe like a bunch of arclights with storms or something, I could definitely see him going for that. Like Apooche has shown that he's really crafty. He just did some amazing flanks. He did a great headbutt. And like that game was not close at all. So I
Nope.
think switching it up is probably the way to go.
And he has to just get a reset here as well. I mean, like if it's a long drawn out game and you feel like, you had some rounds that you won and some rounds that you lost and you end up, you know, fumbling or get a bit unlucky and you lose because of it, like maybe you can give that a place. But when it's this dominant and you have to get right into another game, that's going to test your nerves.
Yeah, for sure. Tournament life on the line now. Let's see what packs we're gonna get. Hopefully not another typhoon.
We do get the amplify specialist there, but the Rhino spec looks really good, I want to say.
Yeah, I think he'll pick that. I like he sold the Mustang. Let's not forget that as well. Yeah.
Yep. Ends up being the Rhino spec.
Okay, I could see him doing quite well with that. I Now there's balls, so I think he will play defense here. Like we were saying. I think he's gonna slow it
Yeah,
down.
I had a talk about this with Sacco, and I really like spiders in headbutts. In fact, I think spiders in headbutts are favored into steel balls because of how well they chaff clear with HE.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, However, making a gamble on either side can also harm you as the spider player
Hmm.
because technically, like, you should have less pressure into the tower than your opponent does. And so Sacco
Yeah.
prefers to do this, play symmetrical, and we'll have to see how this pays out.
Yeah, so I wouldn't call this like a defense, for example. It feels like this is like a center pull, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. I do agree with you. Like, I do think they're really good in headbutts. Like, unless you're scared of like fortified lock or whatever, but
Okay,
otherwise,
wow. This is not at all a line that I have seen.
brand new to me. Has anybody ever done this in the history of Mecha
I
Bell?
don't know. I haven't faced it or seen it though.
They just got nerfed as well.
I mean, their stats didn't, right?
Right, right, right.
Just their techs, which are very dependent on.
Yeah.
But well, we talked about the headbutts, and I guess Apooche heavily agrees, uses quick supply there to get his deployments down, a crawler, and a tarantula.
This is so cool, dude. I can't believe this just might be like a new build that is like reusable.
Oh, I love it. I think it's a genius move.
It seems good, right?
Yeah, because otherwise you're gonna be stuck playing something like Arcs, but I feel like Arcs always kind of struggle together with Steel Balls. They just don't quite have that chaff clearing speed that you'd like when you play aggro.
For sure. I think tarantulas are also sort of like uniquely good at killing fangs once you get like the full range HE package. And like there's not a lot of units in the game that do that. So like Apooche might have gone into this thinking like Sako's gonna play really defensive.
Yeah, and I mean, talk about paying off.
Wow, the level.
Apooche there, without
1,000
the Tarantula
experience.
starter, gets the level 2 Tarantula first.
Yeah, crazy. Well, lots of crawlers now. Look how many
Oh,
crawlers
that
Apooche has.
yeah, oh my days. We get the defense enhancement. We get underground threat for both. We get double crawler from Apooche and the level there on the
Oh,
Tarantula.
but one player's
Oh.
cheating. Hmm. Can it kill? It,
It's
it honestly might not be able to kill all the crawlers though, right?
yeah, yeah.
Like only two tarantulas to kill. How many crawlers are there? One, two, three, four, five, six. 7, 8 if you include the spell.
Yeah, I think it's close to infinite.
So that's almost 200 crawlers. I don't know if the 2 tarantulas are gonna be able to kill them. But yeah, we'll see. I definitely think Apooche will win the ground. I mean, he still has the economic, you know, advantage for quite a while now because the Rhino's not coming out until round 4.
Yeah, and he has the hit points on the crawlers as well, so you got to imagine his underground will win out. Those underground crawlers, or the underground threat from Sacco in the middle, not going for that flank, instead moving forward, so there won't be a debuff happening here for Apooche. And his level 2 Tarantula is just so safe there. Maybe if the Phoenix is locked on early,
Yeah.
it could have killed it, but they might just get stuck here on the crawlers for the rest of the round. Although the Tarantula, they're doing a good job, so never mind. Surprising how that plays out, because there was 9 seconds of debuff in that round,
Yeah.
but
Pretty surprising.
really good
All
turn,
things.
and Phoenix is level.
Yeah, yeah, that's really good. He's gonna need that DPS against the tanky tarantulas.
Get the amp core there. Mass-produced Phoenix, I don't think is quite what Sacco wants. Apooche could opt to go for it, though. Both players favoring the amp core. I mean, how else could you with that level 2 Tarantula, to be honest?
Yeah, it's so juicy.
Like, this is the original one. We now have the amp cores at home specialist, but this is the real one.
It's kind of like, you know how some players just get like only 1 Phoenix or like only 2 Phoenixes and just grab all the levels? What if this is
Yep.
like the new thing? People just start getting like
One
1 or
Tarantula.
2. Yeah. That
I
would
mean,
be so
sometimes
funny.
it does end up being that way, even though they usually do buy more, but it'll be like a board of level 1s and level 2s, and then one of them sits in the middle at like level 5 and an
Yeah, that's
item.
true. Well, we got a Phoenix flank
Mustangs
that
here.
fails horribly. Some Mustangs were picked up.
Mustangs is an interesting choice, though. I would not have expected... I mean, you could give me 10 guesses about what
Mm,
Apooche would buy this turn, and Mustang would not make that list.
yeah, like it had to be some sort of anti-air, right? So there would only be like 4 choices or something like that, or 5 maybe.
Yeah,
But that Mustang being one of those 5 is definitely interesting. I don't really know what to chalk it up to.
I mean, they're doing a great job. Like, that's instant level ups on both Mustang packs?
Yeah, maybe he just wanted to like cover the
Oh, no, just
flank
the
and
one.
I guess he could have covered the flank with Wasp, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just that I really dislike the matchup of Mustang into Spider. Like, I think Spider absolutely loves playing into this type of board.
Yeah, I agree, but sometimes Mustangs get away with it.
Sometimes, yeah. We'll have to see if this is going to be that type of game. I mean, levels
Rhinos for
available
sure.
now for Sacco.
Like Apooche did
Yeah,
so. First of all, Apooche loves Rhinos. Second of all, he did so well with them last game, and like they do seem decent here. So I'm really not surprised he picks them up. Phantom Rays for Sako. That is definitely a spicy pick. I could see him like leaning pretty heavily into it,
I
especially
mean, it's
after seeing the
really
Rhinos.
good. It's really good into the Mustangs as well.
Yeah, definitely. What are his techs? He's got armor, energy absorb or energy shield, stealth cloak, and burst mode. Pretty standard loadouts here, so he has the ability to get very tanky with them.
I don't know. I think I prefer Sacco's round here. Obviously, the Rhinos are good. They're great against potential flank shenanigans, and they'll add some tankiness, but Sacco does have those Phoenixes, does have a Rhino of his own, of course, because of his Rhino specialist, and then the DPS from the Phantom Rays isn't bad at all either.
Yeah, it's really, really big, especially if once he picks up the stealth mode. And he has
And the
HE on his spider here.
first one to tech them, yeah.
Yeah,
Do you have the
let's
range on
see.
the Mustangs? that'll keep them out of harm's way somewhat. But the DPS again is kind of low, right? Like the rhinos have to do
Yeah.
something here to kill those tarantulas, or otherwise they're simply going to sit there and you can tickle them as much as you want, but
Mm-hmm.
they're not looking to go down anytime soon. And yeah, this is where this matchup really shows
Yeah.
like the tarantulas being favored. I mean, that's so much experience going to the tarantulas.
That's insane. Everything left is blue except for the one Phoenix. That was a crushing round. The Tarantula tempo was insane. Really good DPS from the Phantom Rays. And I would say Apooche's stuff is really far in the back, and I feel like that might be hurting him to some degree.
Yeah, there's a lot of different stuff happening, right?
Yeah.
He went for that tarantula, and that's why I was a bit surprised he went Mustang, because they tend to do the same thing. Tarantula is not bad into fangs at all. Of course, it doesn't shoot up, but
Yep.
usually you'd pair it with something like Phoenixes of your own, at least I would imagine. Now he has to
Yeah.
sell out of things like Steel Balls. The Rhinos are kind of whatever as well. They didn't do that well.
No, yeah. But well, he took the sell button this game. He neglected to take it in the previous game.
Yep.
And he's adding
And
Phoenixes.
yeah, I mean, he has to, right? Those Phantoms are simply too tanky, and so are the Tarantulas, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm personally kind of scared to buy Marksman and Phoenixes into Phantom Rays. I have this idea in my head that like if Sako adds 3 more right now, then he just has way too many bodies and I need something like wasps or boats or something, but
Yeah, they're tough to kill if they get ahead, especially with like the stealth and if they get something like shield. The fact that they require multiple shots and some of your shots might disappear if they re-stealth,
yeah, yeah.
it can be scary. But I think yeah, he has to risk it here. I think he doesn't really have time to go for the other options.
Yeah, and it definitely pays off because it was a turn of just tarantulas and range on tarantulas for Sako.
But oh, look at that right side. It's just melting.
Literally melting.
Mustangs,
Oof.
yeah, just gone. And now on the left side, there's nothing left to tank because he had to go for those Phoenixes. And so, yeah, Tarantulas there, glowing gold. That's at least the level 2s for the level 1s. And I think the one with Amp Core also managed to get what was required for it to level.
Yeah, at least he did win the left, so like it's not like he's getting completely crushed. But yeah, pretty good win there.
And yeah, I mean, look at these levels. 2 level 3 Tarantulas,
Oh,
1 more level 2. We do get
that's
some
brutal.
free units.
Fortress is some good security if he ever wants to hit the anti-air button, although it is really hard to kill those Phantom Rays.
Yeah, I mean, Fortress also might be. I don't know what techs he's running, but Fortress carry, I think, is one of the things that can try and contest Tarantulas.
Yeah, it's like one of the best possible things probably, and he's got the amp core for it. So yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. The Saber, a little surprising for me. Do you think he's gonna like double shot it and say that's my Fortress and Rhino killer?
Yeah, it's honestly a good pairing though with Tarantula. I think Tarantula Saber is a comp that we've seen a lot,
Yeah, it's been really good.
and it's relatively cheap bodies that pack a lot of punching power in their respective roles. Again, like the amazing chapter from the Tarantulas, but the insane DPS for the cost as well from those Sabertooth with the potential double shot. Um,
Mm,
it makes for a lot of bodies on the board, which will often mean that even something like Fortress will struggle killing all of it and being
mm.
safe from those sabers.
Yeah, it's just interesting because Fortresses are like kind of a similar unit, but like
Yeah,
Fortresses
yeah,
scale better, I would say. But I think maybe
I
Saber
agree.
yeah, it just has more tempo, I guess, for now. Like 100 cost double shot, but he doesn't take it yet.
Yeah, and getting caught up in text a little bit here, going for 2 more level 2 Phoenixes, picking up range on those, and range on a single Fortress as well, so an expensive tech turn. But the level 3 spiders in the middle there already turning their attention yet again to those leveled Mustangs, and yep, they're gone. Fortress now left alone, just stuck on crawlers, doesn't have overload to be able to save itself. Even if it did, I think it would struggle massively. Right side has collapsed just like last turn. And with that, this turn looks horrid.
That is
It might even
pretty
be
horrid.
it might even be game. I don't know. They're all 200 cost units, so maybe Apooche
Oh.
survives here, but
Oh,
39.
that's insane. Yeah, this is not looking very good. I mean, maybe fortresses can start scaling, but I don't know if he has enough time.
I mean, it just looks like you've got so many problems here. Um, like the crawlers with the underground there, a fantastic pick from Sacco, causing so many problems. And then even if you manage to get rid of those, do you even have the DPS to get rid of all of these tarantulas and sabers?
Yeah, it's just so much meat in front.
And he's teched the phoenixes, so like the question is, do you want them to DPS? But you also have range on the fortress, so do you want the fortress to DPS? Like, charge shots maybe could be good, but at the same time, is that going to be enough?
Looks like he's identified a chaff problem, so he did HE on his
Yeah.
Mustangs here. Melter forced Sako to take care of this huge HP fortress. And he does buy another fortress. He elite recruits it, and elite recruits a Mustang. So he's just sticking to fortress and Stang. It makes sense, but you need a lot of time for this comp to scale. So we'll see if he can get away with it.
Yeah, it'll take somewhat short of a miracle here. He's still just kind of behind, I think. Once the barrier on the fortresses probably, but the melters are already there, and they're just matching the amount of fortresses on the other side. Interestingly, Apooche not loaning here. I guess he was not able to do anything different with that, but...
Yeah, both players not loaning, but yeah, Apooche, that's kind of shocking.
And the melter's already locked on, and I mean, with that, I think the outcome of this round and this game has been secured by Sacco.
Lights out. That's so sad. I wanted this like tarantula thing to work out. Quick
Yeah,
supply
but
tarantula.
I mean, I think this Mustang play, it surprised me, and I gotta
Yeah, yeah.
say, I think that was just the wrong move.
Yeah, that's fair.
Going Spider in the headbutt made so much sense, but then he was unwilling to buy more of them and tech them for some reason,
Mm,
while Mustangs are simply just a worse unit in this type of scenario, and you see it paying
yep,
off dividends for Sacco. Like, suddenly you've got level 3 Tarantulas, they're better Chaflier units, they're tankier. Um,
yep.
yeah,
So
I
basically
think
buy Phoenix or
yeah, it had
Phoenix
to be
or
something
Wasp.
like Phoenix. Yeah,
Yep, makes sense. Yeah, they
because he
just
was
didn't perform.
yeah, no, they're just not good enough there. And like the lack of Phoenixes meant that he was behind in tempo, then had to buy Phoenixes, but because he had to buy Phoenixes, he doesn't have that frontline unit. And so like the crawlers and the Mustangs are just left to their own devices against a unit that they really cannot compete with.
Yep. Well, that ties things up. So now everything is on the line once again. I'm glad that wasn't a 2-0. I mean, it'd be nice to see Sako take get a nice tournament win, especially over Apooche, who's been doing so fantastically in all of the tournaments as of recent. So now we're gonna see, can Apooche continue his amazing tournament streak, or can Sako get on the board and have a potential chance to win the very first season of MAG1? MAG1 League, I should say.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this. We've had now two. I mean, it was a bit of a defense, I guess, from Sacco, but it ended up being. Yeah, I don't know how to qualify that. It kind of looked like a headbutt in the end as well. Um,
Yeah, I guess center pulls can sometimes turn into that. You're like sort of halfway there. It's like you don't want to go next to your towers, right? Because it plays so differently, and like asymmetrical can be so annoying if you are hugging your towers. So it did
yep.
turn into a bit of a weird game for sure, and like the unit drops can sometimes just like massively change whether you want to start retreating to your towers or whether you want to start building forward. Phantom Raids definitely looked pretty good though, I have to say. Just chucking them in the corner, like against all the rhinos too. He didn't even tech them, right?
No, he just had them on the board, but yeah, it just added to like the tankiness problems, like not having that early DPS unit and trying to get out of the spiders that would have been a great shaft clear option. Trying to replace them meant that yeah, there was just too much there to deal with from the phantoms to the saber and the tarantulas.
Yeah, for sure. So the rhinos didn't work out for Apooche that game. I feel like that's the thing with Apooche. He loves rhinos and like he memes with them all the time, and like he either crushes with them or like they just don't work out super well. I mean, maybe that's just rhinos design in a nutshell, right? It just has like the best stats in the game by a mile, but like has so many downsides.
I mean, yeah, it's melee and then it doesn't have the benefit of something like worm where it can't be targeted as long as it isn't in range of something.
Yeah, it's such a nice design of Worm. Like when I first saw the unit, I was like not sure it's really going to add much to the game, and I was like already so annoyed with giants. But it's just I can't like it's viable in standard, which is so cool that like a melee giant can be viable in standard, and like it really is a unique and interesting unit. I think they did a pretty good job with it.
Yeah, it's definitely the most unique unit that has been released.
But I just hate how it can't be photons. Like what the hell?
Yeah, I
Only
mean,
one item.
you don't gotta tell me, man. Like, I was enjoying myself, playing my worm wasp, and then suddenly it was like, nope, you don't get to do that no more.
All right, everything's on
Amplify
the line.
specialist, surely
You want it
third
so
time's the
bad.
charm. I do, I really do. Aerial spec though looks fantastic there for Sacco. Missile spec is available too, so if we want to get another headbutt,
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna see. But you never know. Sako.
oh,
All right, he's slowing things down. He is.
he is.
Everything's on the line in playing standard. I mean, it makes sense. I feel. Maybe he had some really deep read though. Like he was thinking about like, well, if I see these units and these SBCs, then that means he doesn't have this, and like maybe he was also thinking about that type of stuff. But Fire Badger is like not the most useful unit with standard, I would say, but it's good if you're on defense, right? Like you have a bunch of crawlers running into you.
Yeah, I mean it's honestly, I think Fire Badger is kind of disappointed as of late.
Yep, I
It
agree.
just never really seems to get the job done, and it's also not good into Tarantula at all.
Yeah, I pretty much just like it for like having meat on the board. Like I like it for lighting the ground on fire if they're buying like way too many crawlers. And otherwise it's like pretty much just like a meat or a flank for me.
Yeah. Like the unit drops can be really good tempo sometimes, like the level 3 Fire Badgers, they are quite tanky and they've got decent DPS as well, but
Yeah.
otherwise it just feels like a late game unit. Like it can be really good late game as a drop or something, and then you get that range on Napalm if you need to, but early game, ah, not sure, but we'll have to see.
Yep. We need to talk about missile specialists. So this is going to be
We
extremely
do, don't we?
relevant. Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a couple natural things you want to be against with missile, and that's Stormcallers, Mustangs, and then that's pretty much it, right? But we have one of those here, and that's going to be extremely strong. And he doesn't even really play around it, right? The crawlers are missileable alongside the Stormcallers.
They are, and the Arclight as well will lose over half of its hit points there next turn, you've got to imagine. Now, an early shield into Tarantula
Yeah,
maybe is doable.
definitely.
But if you lose the shield, then you also lose out on a lot of tempo, so I'm not sure. And for Apooche, I think the logical next move would be something like Phoenix, so I think he might have to take this one
Mm,
on the chin.
yeah, so I'm excited to see if he misplayed or like if he has a great plan. Like everything's on the line, so I would feel extremely scared to shield personally. I just would have spreaded my stuff out more.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Like maybe shield airdrop gets offered. No, unit
Never
drops.
mind. We just pick up the pace even more.
Hmm.
Or slow things down. Maybe something in here will turn the tide immediately for Sacco, but
Yeah, what's good here? Marksman's makes sense. They shoot the Wraith, they shoot the Phantom Rays. The Rhino would be pretty strong tempo for Apooche, and he does love the unit, but nope, Phantom Ray. Well,
I
they can
like the
pop
Phantom
shields.
Rays. Yeah, they're basically like your alternative to something like a Phoenix, right? They've got
Hmm,
about the same properties, just a bit less range and a bit more tanky.
for sure. Look at this marksman placement, by the way, in the missile.
Ugh,
How much damage is that? Oh my gosh. This is like the best missile of
quite a
all
lot,
time. And
yeah.
it's like he's known for 2 whole rounds now that this missile is coming, and yet look where he's positioned his units.
It's surprising because in the game between Flower Fairy and Sacco on day one of the MAG1 League, he did play around the specialist.
Yeah, he's like personally when I've communicated with him, he's always said you should play around it from the very start. Like it's going to impact your decisions very, very much. And now in a tournament setting, I mean, albeit he's had many practice games with this SPC by now because it's been out for several weeks, but I'm just shocked that he's come to this conclusion when it's all on the line.
Both
Really
players
good.
here, apart from the free unit drops, just going for some more chaff. Crawler's been purchased for both in the back line. Fire Badger finds its way onto the right side, defending adequately here, at least against that one crawler pack that was coming in, and the Phantoms are distracted, so perhaps the marksman can do something. One of them already locked onto one of the tarantulas, the other one too, but got
It's
heavily
injured.
damaged, will be taken out. Yeah, it's level 2, so the golden glow means the tarantula will be hitting level 2 next turn.
Yeah, decent little victory, but that's both missiles used, right?
It is, yeah. You
Honestly,
know,
that's pretty good for Sako, I think.
yeah, I think you'll take that.
He's got the marksman. That's pretty good stability against like most threats. There's the
Oh, the
airdrop.
BM. There's the airdrop. A turn too late.
It's a bit late, but I mean, maybe you still take it. Look at Apooche's take. Oh my gosh.
Improved War Factory. So, if we look at the right side of the board here, how many squares do you think are between the line and those fangs? Would it
Yeah,
happen to be 7?
I wonder if it would be 7. It could certainly be 7.
And why would it be 7? That is weird. Not like we've ever seen Apooche play something like a War Factory on the line.
Oh, he does really like that card too.
Yeah, I mean, it's
In his
still
streams,
great.
he's always like hovering it and being like, should I take this card? Well,
Well,
he
now he doesn't have chat to
the
debate
thing
the
is,
idea.
he honestly doesn't have to even ever build it, right? Like it only costs 50 and the mental damage is pretty severe and the flexibility you have.
Yep. And we get to see this shallow flank tarantula there. And I think it'll do really well. It's already spawned
Yeah.
in and not damaged just yet. There have been wasps added to the board. I quite like this. Wasps are
Yes.
known to be really good into Phantom.
Absolutely. Yeah, this shallow flank really changed the aggro because like last time the Phantom Rays went to the right, now they're just going straight to the bubble, and it looks like
Yep.
they probably will take it out too.
Yeah, and without the Phantoms, this bubble would have caused way more problems for
Yeah.
Apooche. And now he just gets to break it, doesn't have to worry about it next turn. That being said, a nice play there from Sacco, stabilizing. The Wasp's doing a fantastic job.
Yep.
And it's pretty much equal now. Both players sitting at around 3,500 hit points.
Yeah, this is definitely a close game. I'm not sure who's winning yet.
Underground threat, yep. You just gotta pick it up almost anytime it shows up. But Apooche disagrees.
Now, is that for his improved war factory?
Hey, maybe.
Maybe
Oh,
two
we see
turns from
the
now?
Mustangs again.
Oh, how sad are you?
I mean, this time I can kind of get it because, I mean, what are you going to do against Wasp? But I feel like the only things that you can buy
Yeah,
against Wasp is Mustang or
and
your own
Wraith.
Wasp.
Yeah,
Wraith, yeah, but Wraith into Marksman, I just...
that's scary,
Also,
right?
Wraith with Spider is weird.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with all that. I think the Mustangs do make sense. Yeah. Maybe I even like it, in fact.
I think I've started to prefer the line of just going my own wasp, ranging them and saying, now
Mm,
you have to either tech or you have to go into Mustang, and then I'm playing Tarantula into Mustang again, so good luck.
yeah, that's pretty fair.
But the instant range here and the level, not bad at all.
Yep.
And at least this time around, they do have a front line.
This is kind of a funny underground crawler. Do you like this? It looks like it's doing pretty well. Like the DPS from the crawlers is just
Yeah,
literally killing the tarantula. It's kind of genius.
I mean, it still had the effect of pulling things to the right, though, so I'm not sure how good that was, but
Yeah.
it's a neat move. I like it.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Tarantula there getting targeted, but will be able to take down the
Oh,
tower. Woof, that's got a sting.
yeah.
Means the Mustangs are going to be able to farm up all of the remaining experience. I say that.
Oh, it's so close to a level.
Not quite.
Not quite.
Very close round.
Yeah, really close game in general. And it's not clear who's winning at all. We got two
Get
giants
3 units.
here.
Yeah. Melter, the choice there for Sacco.
Melter versus Phoenix. Kind of a classic battle.
I'd say it's usually a pretty good matchup for Phoenix.
Yeah, definitely.
The level 2
But
Melter is
definitely.
tanky though, but
Yeah. Oh, the missiles are back. They're on the same targets. Is it bubble time, do you think?
I wouldn't mind a bubble here.
I mean, it's a missile that's doing 400
It's also
supplies worth of
killing the
damage on the
leveled
right.
storms. Yeah.
Yeah, and 300 on the left. I mean, that's a lot of supplies. I think you gotta bubble it, man. This is just insane. Do they live if you like? No, you'd have to take like
No.
enhanced level 2. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, maybe you take it on the chin, like the Arclight survives and the
No.
Marksman survives.
It's so much supply. Yeah, maybe
I
I
mean,
was
he
missing.
only has 100 left, so he can at most prevent one of these.
Yeah.
But he just leveled the left storm.
Oh, there it is. Thank
Okay, one of
God.
them. I'm
Well,
surprised he was
Melter,
willing to level the storm on the left.
I'm very surprised as well. Yeah. Spoil. Oh, distracted.
Needs to
Oil,
find the
oil.
marks here. Get onto those tarantulas for Sacco. One of them is locked onto a tarantula in the middle, and the oil gets ignited. I think Apooche will actually be quite happy with that.
Yes, definitely. It was late enough, right?
Yeah, and he probably loses the round anyway because of the slow, so he'd rather just lose it one round and then have it gone instead of having to deal with the slow twice in a row.
Yep. But that was his missile turn. Double missiles, and the bubble lives. So kind of just a massive win there for Sako, I would say. Big difference in choices here. We
Well,
got
if
Amp Core. Oh,
Apooche thought that he would got lucky there with the oil being gone, incendiary bomb shows up.
yeah. I mean, it could get bubbled here. Hmm.
Well, part of it.
Yeah.
The double shield is nice though. Also prevents retaliatory incendiary bomb from Apooche.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that too. The Amp Core was put on the Mustang. And there's the
Oh,
improved War Factory. And
there it
like I
is.
said, 2 rounds ago, he saved the intensive for it, did he? No, he
Well,
doesn't
he
have
doesn't
the
have the
money.
money to upgrade it, so
Okay.
yeah.
So it's gonna go on the Mustang, I guess.
It's not gonna go into the corner either. I guess he's scared of that melter.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I'm not even.
Already
Yeah.
loaning.
Yeah.
This might get expensive though.
It's
No
all gonna come
efficient
down to the
maintenance.
melter. We'll have to
True.
see.
But either way, Sacco can afford to lose a round here. Maybe even 2 if he manages to kill enough.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
Apooche will be losing out 300 next turn because of the loan and the upkeep.
Yeah, his economy is pretty ruined. He's pretty all in at this point. He's just gonna be loaning for the rest of the game, I think.
And we see the underground crawlers yet again. We saw them be really successful last game against a similar board with those Mustangs. And I wonder if Apooche here is kind of trying to play towards selling the Tarantulas to kind of retrieve some of that economy and just play Mustang War Factory, but we'll have to see if it's enough to deal with all of this chaff.
Yeah, I can see it.
Really nice debuff there. Preventing the tower from going down for Apooche, and the 2 Phoenixes will clean up the Wasps. So a nice round, but yeah, not too much damage dealt there, and Sacco can definitely afford to lose at least 1 more round, I would say.
Yeah, definitely still anybody's game, because the War Factory is just a complete menace, but then we've got Melters already on the board to handle it.
We have the Ion Blast there, picked up for both players, makes a lot of sense. Super strong spell, I feel like almost at any stage of the game, it's hard to pass up on.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure right now on these Mustangs and these Phoenixes, I feel. So Pucci's got to be asking himself, like, is it beacon time? Like, War Factories are very good with beacons, and like you can get out of the spell.
I mean, I think that the factory doesn't care too much, sitting at 455k hit points, but yeah, the Mustangs
No, but you
are the
can like
crucial part.
dodge the blue melter, stay away from it, and you can bring your Mustangs with you.
True.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. Like he can also like sell the War Factory and start attacking the other side. Looks like he's teching Ball Summon on it. That's very good against the Melter.
Yeah, it's a nice tech, and indeed he's going to sell out of the Tarantulas there to be able to fund all of this. The loan comes out again, makes sense. I mean, it's hard to stop loaning once you've started, so we'll probably see that being clicked every round from now until one of these players wins.
Yeah.
Interesting Ion there from Sacco. I'm not sure if this will hit the Mustangs, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, that's a hard Ion to place.
Well, never mind. Well, the red Mustangs are safe.
Yeah, that's the important one too.
Yeah, this is not that great of an Ion for Sacco, and I would say that it's way better there for Apooche.
Yeah. Yeah, this War Factory is probably unkillable
As
this
you
round.
say that, the left tower there, not fortified, goes down yet again. Will the factory be able to protect against the crawlers from the second debuff? I think it will. The melter locks on.
Oh, it is killable. Okay.
Ooh.
I
mean,
thought
that
it would have
looked
enough
like
range.
I mean, it's strong in the mirror. If it ever locks onto the melting point, it will
Yeah.
instantly delete it. But the left side there, we get a second
Oh,
Iron Blast.
the
Sacco gets a
repeat.
redemption attempt there, although might not need it, as we saw from how that round went. Left side here definitely going to be a pressure point and something Apooche will have to account for because the tower debuff made a massive difference, I think.
Yeah, certainly. No Ion for Apooche though.
Yeah,
First
the
the
Ion does
EMP.
get angled. I'm surprised that he goes for the EMP, but then uses the missiles in the back. You could try and go for a bit of a cheese here. I think with the EMP and the way the factory is positioned, you could also put down a missile. You
Yeah,
could
yeah.
get rid of that shield and just hit whatever's underneath it.
Yeah, like the Stormcallers or something. It does look like a solid plan. Another War Factory. Will they be together? Nope. He puts it pretty far down. It'll get lots of summons out.
The left side still looks a bit precarious to me, though.
Yeah, there's really not much over there, right? And there's like so much
Yeah,
chaff.
you need to deal with the chaff and then, there's 2 arc lights to deal with that one crawler pack. You've got to wonder whether or not the steel balls will manage to stop the melter from locking on. We'll have to see.
By the way, there's no. Oh, never mind. Sorry, I thought I saw there's no launcher overload. So he has launcher overload, but doesn't want it. But like, there's just so much chaff. I guess that's why he took the splash on the Stangs. So hopefully that helps him out.
Ooh, this time around, Ion slightly angled will hit those blue Mustangs instantly. Will miss the Mustangs in the exact same fashion as before, though. But
Still really good though.
maybe he can manage to make the round go the exact same way because of that. Who knows? Crawlers are kind of swarming that factory, and Sacco did plus replicate. For those of you that don't know, if a war factory gets replicated, that's plus 70 crawlers to Sacco, and so the left side is getting swarmed now.
Brutal. That's a
Right
lot of
side
damage.
melter. That is a lot of damage, yeah. And 1257 hit points. That won't quite do it.
Oh, Apooche couldn't keep his insane tournament streak going. Sako taking him down, getting into the finals.
GG's.
Wow. Improved Factory not getting there.
Yeah, I think it might have come out a bit too early. Also, he bought it into the existing melter, right?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Congrats on your
Congrats.
win.
Thank you. Crawlers OP.
Yeah, you got a bunch of them at the end there.
What's funny is last night I lost to this. I was playing like pure Mustang board, and this guy triple teched his crawlers, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot Mustangs aren't good in the chat. So I remembered. I'm like, okay, if Mustang gamer, we must go for the gut shot.
Yeah,
Triple
for
tech,
sure.
double tech.
For sure. Melters got there against the Improved War Factory. When you saw him take that card, were you like, oh my god?
It was funny. It's like no other player you play against, you see Improved War Factor, and you're like, whatever. It's Improved. No one takes this card. But against Apooche, I know I'm like, okay, if I skip this card, I must have a plan. And then the melter came, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna hold this melter. And then he still goes factory. I'm like, oh my god, shit. Because like War Factory improves specifically is like such a scary card. Like I wasn't
Yeah,
like
it's huge.
if the melter there, like, if the War Factory locked the melter's just gone. So I had to like
Giga
make
dead,
sure.
yeah.
That's why I went Mustangs because I needed answer to Phoenix, but also just Mustang is so good for like late
Yeah.
chaff to protect the melter.
It definitely worked out. Worked out super well. Yes, I would say there's some crazy games there. One of the games was a little bit of a blowout, right?
Yeah, I took a Mustang opener. I was feeling. I thought
Sold them,
But then
yeah.
like if I play any other player, no one does headbutt storms. But like I'm like, oh crap, headbutt Mustangs are so garbage. So I had to go Wraith, and then it was lost. Like that game was lost from round 1, basically. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
If I played Flower Fairy, I would have a competitive match. You know, I'll be like, okay, I can push. But then these arcs are on the line. Then he has Typhoon. I'm like, oh god, I don't know what to do really.
Yeah, I can't believe he never sold the storms. It's crazy.
Yeah, we were sitting there like the board was just made up of anything
It's
and
HP
everything.
damage.
Yeah,
It is
honestly,
true.
yeah. Don't sell
What
stuff,
did
you
you-
lose HP damage.
What did you think of like the game 2 and game 3 though? It had a bit of a similar trend where Apooche went for the tarantulas and then opted out of them into Mustang, and it felt like into your tarantulas, it was just causing some problems.
Yeah, I've played Mustang against Mustang Fort players before with Spider defense, and it feels pretty strong because like you need to go range fort to survive like to counter the melter, and then if you go range fort, all your Mustangs just die in 3 seconds to splash spiders. So it feels not bad. Like it's a little bit takes a while to get going because you need like range and HE, and their prices both just got increased, but it feels pretty strong. Plus, I mean, like I don't know, as a defender, like if you saw the last game, I got like Ensign into oil into ion into like I'm just chilling. I'm like having a grand old time spellcasting. I don't know.
So that game, there was Missile SPC for Apooche, and I saw round 1, you clumped your crawler with your storm collar, and then round 2, the blue marksman also took some incidental damage, let's say. What was your planning
I
there?
saw this match. It was I think he's like his name is P-Man, I guess. I don't know, that's what you call him. But I seen him put like this like storm bundle in the middle, and he shielded the middle. I was debating doing that. I'm like, well, that's so trash because the problem with that is like it's a good play, but I like pairing my storms right beside the arc because, as you saw, like for like 3 rounds, the arc was like doing nothing against the spider. It was locking onto the wrong units, and his chaff
Mhm.
timing was really good. So I just said, you know what? We're just gonna tank the missile like strike, and we'll go next.
Well, the Arclight I understand, but the Crawler, like, did the Crawler need to die with the Stormcaller?
I don't know where else do you put the crawler.
Yeah, no,
It's
it's
round
fair.
1. You're like, what are you gonna put in the back? I don't know. I just, you just tank it. You go next. You say my spec
All right.
is better allegedly.
You've just
That's
told me so many times, like, okay, round 1, you gotta play around missile spec.
yeah, that's what I thought. But then I don't know. You know what? What am I gonna do? How am I gonna play around it? You know,
Yeah, for
we're just
sure.
greed, I guess.
All right, Sako, thanks for the interview and nice to hear your thoughts. We're gonna let you go for now.
All right. Take
Good
care.
luck
Good
in the
luck.
finals.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, it's basically the Clash of the Titans, I would say. I mean, no matter who won there, it was gonna be the Clash of the Titans, but
Yep.
this is gonna be pretty crazy. A lot of pride on the line here. A lot of fans for both sides. And Sako with a real good chance to prove himself here. This would be like a massive tournament win for him.
And indeed, like who other to play it against than Flower Fairy? I think this is the player that is giving him the most trouble in recent times. So
Yeah.
let's see if he's managed to find some strategy here to deal with this player.
Yep. So just to go through some facts here, Flower Fairy, he won his group. The first group we did, he won it. He won both his matches, just instantly qualifying. Sako did not. Sako lost one of the matches and got in second in his group, but he had a really good redemption arc, obviously. Reverse sweeping Apooche, reverse sweeping his group A. So he's definitely looking really good despite some shaky starts. And will be a best of 5 now that we're on to the grand finals here. I believe first place gets $300, second
Yep.
place 100, and then the third and fourth. There will be no match to determine third place. So those two will both share $50 each. So a lot on the line here. I'm sure they're both feeling pretty nervous, and I would not be surprised to see Flower Fairy just standard every single game.
Yeah, I've heard stories about some best of threes between these two where Flower Fairy went like aggro elite and managed to win, but
Hmm.
I don't think we'll see it in a tournament setting for some reason.
Yeah, it's like once in a blue moon, maybe he does that, but yeah, with
I'm
so much on the
excited. We
line.
haven't seen Amplify Specialist yet, and honestly, I might riot if we don't get to see it once.
I know, I feel bad for you. I mean, it's partially Typhoon's fault, you know. Typhoon SBC is just like you see it, you click it, you know.
There it is! With spiders, it has to be the best. It just has to be the best.
I think it's the
Do you
best.
know how much attack these spiders get if you put an Amcor on them?
A lot.
A lot, yeah, 20%. It goes from 500 and
Oh.
he didn't pick
Oh.
it. Nah, but like
Oh, because he's a
I'm
standard player,
so
you
mad.
reckon?
I mean,
I don't
I'm a
know.
very unbiased caster, but I'm so mad.
Typhoon picked again. Anybody surprised? I mean, it's a dang good pack, but Typhoon 100% pick rate, I believe.
And I think we will see a bit of a difference in strategy here from Sako. In day one of the MAG1 League, he was playing standard in his game against Flower Fairy. It did not work out. And in the interview afterwards, he did say, look, maybe I should just try and play aggro against these players because I just feel more comfortable that way. And they seem to be perhaps more vulnerable to that playstyle because they know standards, ins and outs.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good plan from him, honestly. I mean, Flower Fairy has self-admitted that he is not like defense is his weakest attribute. So I think exploiting that is good. I mean, Sako is obviously extremely good on aggro. Look how far forward his arcs are, by the way. That is really interesting. You don't see that very often.
You don't know.
Like they just can get stuck on things. Like sledges are there to get stuck on as well. it definitely can work out. Like the more damage you have up front, the better it's gonna be, so you don't get stuck on things.
What do
Maybe
you
he
think about
wants.
no vertical sledge, by the way?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there are players who just don't think vertical's better. I guess, unless he thinks that Sako might have been going standard here.
But a 501 ball player playing standard, I mean, I think we would instantly reject him.
I know, right? He's already on trial. I'm not sure about all
Yeah,
this
true. I
standard
mean, the
business.
way that he made his way to the finals, is it 501 versus 201, or is it 201 versus 201, you know?
Yeah, he's fake 501 and fake Canadian, you know? He always says USA, USA.
There you go, chat. You've heard the charges. You can make up your opinion. The
Cancelled.
viewers will be the jury,
Only fair.
and his case will be the outcome of this finals. Heavy armor instantly picked up there. Should be good onto the steel balls as well. Wasp
Yeah.
Swarm, though.
Yeah, Wasp Swarm, that's definitely, like, Sako's definitely going to be sweating that. And it's so hard to defend that spell. Like, what do you think Sako's going to do, honestly? Maybe defensive Wasp Swarm? No?
I mean, you might just level a tower and put down a missile. I don't know. Like, the thing is, you can't even put down a Fang Pack because it'll lose.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like he's just going to do 3 crawlers, and, like, the Wasp will chase it for either
Yeah.
forever or for a decent amount of time. Which
But
is
no
fair.
Wasp went for the heavy armor there instead on the sledgehammer, so we'll be safe
Yeah.
from that spell.
I don't think these crawlers are, like, very good at winning the battle. I feel like he's just doing it to, like, stall, you know, for Bearlike and to, like, try and mitigate the Wasp just, like, crushing him.
Yeah, and he'll need chaff waves either way, so
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it's not going to be bad either way. It's a bit of a rough one here. Flower Fairy gets access to that Fire Badger, which, even though it's not doing all that much, still provides some defensive stopping power.
Yep. Yeah, good
So-
points. He's doing decent, though, honestly.
Yeah, I think you take this. These Fangs, though, a little bit of
Yeah.
an unsung hero, perhaps. Getting rid of those steel balls, at least somewhat.
Yeah, for
There's
sure.
one crawler on the left tower and one Fang protecting it.
Oh, is he getting the round? Didn't think he had it in him.
The steel ball does get a level there, the one that has the heavy armor
Oh.
onto it.
That's pretty
And
big.
our
He
plate
might-
levels,
Yeah, yeah, lots of good experiences here, honestly. Like, now he actually has a lot of lines open to him, right? And the Typhoon comes. And
Oh,
Bearlike drops.
and the
And
boat.
Taiba. Do we want Typhoon plus boats, which some
I mean,
people call
it
Taiba?
got nerfed, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Copium?
It's
It
still
got
very
fixed?
strong. Yeah, I mean,
I think the
anti-missile.
Typhoon nerf didn't do anything, though. Like, the thing that makes Typhoon oppressive is the barrier, so
Mm,
the double barrier is kind of what provides the annoyingness of that comp, I think.
yeah, I do agree. I mean, I'm happy to see the HP taken off, but I agree that, like, barrier costing 50 or 100 more would have been more severe, I think.
Sako taking his time, but goes for boats anyway, and we're going to see boats here from Flower Fairy as well, still running that carry setup that we've seen from almost all of 201's players there, with the range of the Overlord, the HE, and the Mothership. And a bit of a different situation for Sako, reverting to that aggro setup with Overlord Artillery, Mothership, Jump Drive, and Photon Emission.
Yeah, I've heard from him that he feels disgusted with himself for running it, and feels that he shouldn't be shouldn't be such a
I
coin
mean-
tosser, but
Can you, would you feel really good about yourself running the other setup? Like, if you're gonna commit to Taiba, then, you know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, you just can't run. In my opinion, you can't really run the 201 carry tech anymore. Like, you can run it, but it's much more risky. Like, I think Mustangs with AMD is, like, pretty damn strong right now.
Well, we'll see if Sako wants to go for that, if he's just going to, well, keep buying boats and keep buying Typhoons. The Steel Balls are
Yeah.
doing a great job here, by the way, against those Overlords.
Yeah, for now,
the
they'll
heavy
do
armor.
well. Eventually, they may get sold. It's hard to say. If they level up
I mean,
again, though,
They got to tower.
yeah. I
There's
feel like
two
it's,
boats there.
Yeah, we'll see. Flower Fairy definitely has a lot to answer for. This is supposed to be, you know, Sako's strong turn. A lot of things happen to the board all at once. I think Flower Fairy needs some time to adjust here. Maybe we'll see an oil come down. Although there's the Fire Badger. I think you should sell the Fire Badger in oil, perhaps.
Yeah, that might not be a bad play. The Fire Badger's been doing decently, though.
Yeah, and he has chaff clear problems, so I guess that is a little sus. He could, like, do an early splash on the boats, but he does, okay.
Hey, you call it and it comes out.
Will we see the sell and the oil play, though? Maybe he doesn't need the oil if he can splash kill the balls really quickly.
I mean, even the fire effect might be decent. Some Mustangs have been added. Now, of course, he can't know that, but it would
Well,
at least give him 1 round of tempo.
I will say, Sako knows about the anti-missile being broken on Mustangs. So he could go for it. It will just
I
completely shut
wonder
down.
how doable it is here. The oil does get purchased, but
But he
like you
didn't
need
sell.
range, like
This
aerial
just gets lit
spec.
on fire.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, against the Mustangs and the crawlers.
But he didn't know. But yeah, yes.
Well, he didn't know, but still decent.
Yeah, still decent. Yeah,
I guess
could
he
see him
just
getting
wants
the win.
the overlords to lock on, right? Although he did click HE, so.
Yeah, yeah.
But last round it was mostly just getting stuck on the crawlers that cost him.
Yeah, I just think the oil would have been stronger than the fire, but just
What do you
mostly
think of
because you
this
get 2
beacon?
rounds.
I don't really like it.
I think the beacon was bad personally. Yeah.
Like Typhoons and boats are just not that fast units, so they've spent most of the round traveling, and by that time the right side has collapsed.
Yeah, like I'm sure it was like a pretty mind game oriented decision, but yeah, I didn't really like it, and he definitely like got no benefit from it.
Get the haste module pickup here for Flower Fairy
Where did its
and for
boats
Sako
go?
as well.
He has no boats.
The boat is gone.
So what's his plan here? Like, is he gonna
I'm
buy 3
guessing.
Mustangs?
I mean, yeah, it honestly might be something like that. The problem is those sledges could be a real menace. Flower Fairy does run armor enhancement
Yeah.
on it, and that is a nightmare for things like Typhoon and Mustang to deal with.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Seems like that's the biggest thing for him to solve right now. He's committing to like the ability to kill these boats really, really effectively, but now he's gonna need tanks to keep the Mustangs alive and like the ability to kill the sledges.
All right, so hear me out. What about Mustang Hacker?
Yeah, I mean it can work for sure. You need
'Cause I feel
something.
like, I mean, he needs something to deal with the sledges. I think the boats are kind of covered. I mean, of course, you kind of need levels, but
Yeah.
the Mustangs are supposed to kill these boats, but then, you know, you will run into armor sledge as a problem, and nothing on the board answers that.
So why do you think he sold the boats?
I think he just realized he didn't have the tempo. Like, left side doesn't have the chaff to support that Typhoon. Right side is struggling against the 2 boats that were added, so... I mean, like, it's hard to get the deployments down, right? Like, you want more Typhoons, you want techs on those, you want techs on the boats, you probably want more crawlers on the left side, and that's the only side you could really commit to. So I feel like he wants to make use of the right side where he does have units and try and make that work.
Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe it wasn't a good idea for him to put the Typhoon in the boat on the left side then.
Yeah, I would... It probably could have laid out like the boat Typhoon thing if you just put everything right side.
Yeah. Well, he gets a round. Well, maybe not a round win, but pretty close.
Looks like he'll be fine. He gets the levels, importantly.
Yeah, that's huge. Getting Mustang levels going is part of the formula. You want to be like really securely good against the boats, and then you just need to focus on the sledges.
Oh, now these options are great for Sako.
Yeah, which ones do you like for Sako here?
I mean, Fortress Mustang has got to be like ultra solid. Of course, Scorpion is great into the sledges as well, but Fortress isn't no slouch into it either. Goes for the
Yeah.
Rhino?
Yeah, that is the weirdest one he could have gone for, I would say, or the first here. So what's he gonna do with this thing? I mean, it runs fast, right? And the splash DPS loss means he can't really kill with boats, but he does have the Scorpion here.
I feel like... Okay, this might be mind games as well, because with those things offered, would you ever click armor here on the sledge?
No.
I think you wait a turn.
Yeah, you
So,
wait a turn.
but if Flower Fairy clicks armor here, I guarantee you he wins the round.
Assuming he can kill the Rhino.
I mean, he's got the Scorpion right in front of it. I think he'll be fine.
Okay, I'm less confident about that than you, but yeah, you're probably right.
There's two, but surely there's two, but there's no way.
Yeah, you're probably right, but I'm just like imagining the Rhino like coming in, chopping.
I know it's a Giga Rhino, but it's, like this Scorpion hits like a truck. It deals 32,000 damage. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
that's a third of the Rhino's hit points.
You like this beacon?
I don't know.
Oh, it's just the balls?
I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be a similar scenario to like the boat typhoon thing.
I think it's like balls that go and protect the Rhino that's gonna come kill. I don't know, man.
We see the underground crawlers yet again into the Mustangs, by the way, and he did talk about that. The
Yeah,
problems Mustangs had, but we had him on the interview.
yeah. Interesting.
Also, the Rhino is indeed gone.
Yeah, beacon definitely did him no favors in that regard. Will he have enough juice to kill these boats?
Looks like he's doing a good job. Not gonna be quite enough though. That HE pays off and makes the matchup somewhat playable for the boats.
Yeah, did he get levels? He got 4 levels. That's pretty good. Deployment module.
Yep,
moving this
there we
ball.
go.
Moving the ball.
Can I be mad? I want to be
You
mad.
may be mad. You may be mad.
I'm mad at Sacco here. I don't understand the Rhino logic. Because even if it works out, he would not have killed Flower Fairy, and Rhino is almost always a one-turn thing. And I mean, I feel like it's not hard, right, to identify Sledgehammer armor as a problem. So, what is your response into that next turn? Like, you got offered the two things that would be your answer, either Scorpion or Fortress. So, I don't understand why he doesn't pick those.
Yeah, I definitely see your point. I think the Rhino makes sense from certain perspectives. Like, as I mentioned, the boats cannot kill them, and they also run so quickly that they dodge attacks well. Although maybe that doesn't matter so much with HE.
It died.
But yeah, to the Scorpion, right? I mean, to just everything. He
Well,
ran it.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, he got a free unit as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
It's
I
also
think...
like it's just the level 5 Rhino that's good. Like, nobody buys more Rhinos after that. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's just that one drop, but then after that, like, how do you solidify the rest of your board? I'm just a bit confused, but it might pay off. Like, the Rhino is walking across the board right now, making his way to the left tower. Does get missiled and slowed down. There's no Scorpion over there, so can the boats with their diminished damage do anything? Looks like the answer may be no.
Yeah, like I said, nothing can really kill them.
I mean, there's Fangs over there that are stopping it.
Yeah.
Mustangs are kind of getting through, though. Debuff will result... Okay, so not bad. Well, hey, what do I know? I'm not in these finals.
I'm wondering if he's going to utilize these arc lights to apply DPS to the sledges or not. Like, he could take charge shot or something. Like, these levels are getting big. Like, he can deploy more of them. Oh, we got drops, though.
More drops. No Fortress here, though, and these options are not necessarily that insane for Sacco, I think.
They don't kill sledges, therefore they're trash. We need sledge
Kill
killers.
Melter.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I mean, I feel like...
off.
Look, the hacker play, honestly, is still possible. I don't hate it.
It is, yeah. I think it's completely viable. What else would you do, though? Like, I don't know if you can really go into forts from this point. You can still buy Scorps, I guess. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm really worried about the sledges. Like his...
I've been worried about the sledges for 3 rounds.
Yeah, very justifiably so. Some of the Mustangs are like big enough to tickle them, but yeah, it's not great. There is more arcs. I called it. I think he's... How much money does he have? Not enough to tech them. He has a loan available. Maybe he just wants more chaff clear, because there is a lot of crawlers. Buying them level 2.
The Rhino is gone.
Yeah, he had to, right? Because melters were offered, so...
Yeah.
Like you said, there's usually a one-turn thing, so
And now we're stuck killing sledges with the most efficient unit into it.
yep.
Not quite. But hey, I was a doubter, and I will admit I was wrong on the last turn. So, you know, we might
Funny
just
arc
see
lights.
miracles happen.
We very well might. Got a big fire here. Incendiary bombs picked up. Very good against the Mustangs, but shields were placed everywhere.
Yeah, those middle sledges are a menace, though. Level 3 with the armor, they don't take any damage except from that melter.
I really think the arc light, like charge shot or something's coming out next turn though, and then I think it will look better. But now there's fire added to the equation.
Will there be a
and,
next round, though?
well, how much HP does Sock have? 2,400. He's cleaning up. Okay, there is another round.
Okay, the melter there takes out some of those remaining boats, but this is not a poorly scaling comp by any means. It's not like,
No,
yes,
yeah.
turn 8,
Turns out playing Giants is
haha,
good.
now you fall off with your carry boats.
I mean, he's got a menagerie of giants at this point.
He does, yeah.
Do you see this arc light, like, positioning? It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah,
I think he ran out of time, maybe.
yeah.
I mean,
mean,
they're
he
not
got them at
helipadded,
least from
but...
the... Yeah, they're not helipad. He managed to avoid that.
Yep.
I'm not even sure what they're targeting either.
Yeah, I mean, you want them to target the sledges. Okay, here comes the big boy.
Okay.
Okay, I guess. Yeah, makes sense.
I
But, like,
mean, they don't have range.
is it, like, I feel like I'd rather click it on the Mustang, no?
Yeah. Do you get overloaded a bit though in terms of the jobs? I mean,
I
it's
don't think
actually kind of
so.
nice because it breaks the lock onto the sledges.
Oh my gosh, that's such an interesting point. Yeah, I don't know. That I'm out of my scope there. But regardless, we got 2 war factories, both in the beacon. Good pressure on the right tower here. They will tank really well. Let's
I
see.
like
It's
the
anybody's
stack,
game.
but the
Yeah.
left side is going to just go the same way, which was a hard loss last turn.
Yeah, he's got the 1 fortified on the tower. That's nice at least. The little bodyguard with the melter, but yeah, it's not looking hot over there. And he never went into
Interesting
the
move.
arcs.
Flower Fairy beaconing his Vulcan back and forth to make sure that he gets multiple procs of that incendiary bomb.
Yeah, pretty cool. I like that. Don't think he had other good use of it, so. Will we get tower for Sako here?
I mean, we're struggling a little bit there. The Mustang's still stuck on some of these sledges. The war factories are supposedly good into it, but
I don't know. They're both
soaking up a
they're
couple
max
shots.
HP.
Ooh, yeah, they are getting in. And left side, because of the debuff now,
Yeah.
I think Sako might have just done it.
Yeah. Flower Fairy does not have a lot of HP here. That's gonna be it, right?
And this was the theorized counter, right? With the fix of those HP on the missiles from the Overlords, going for missile interception.
This is what I'm saying, man. 201 like carry text, which is what we call this 4 loadout here, looking a little sketchy now that in the most recent patch that came out, what was it, 2 days ago or yesterday? Now they're back to being very easily interceptable. So be careful doing this. It was OP for a bunch of patches, but for several weeks, but now it is very sketchy.
Now, that being said, though, I feel like the correct play for Flower Fairy was just to trust the boats if he wanted to go that way and give them overload and not buy melters and just keep spamming boats.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I agree.
I think he can get the DPS down that a melter would. Like, yes, the Rhino is kind of annoying, but it really only has one place to go, which is the left tower, which takes ages. And with the levels on the boats, like, he can definitely get up to a good amount of DPS. So I feel like
Mm,
the melters just weren't that useful here. You can see like the damage they did across the 2 rounds. It's nothing impressive.
yeah. I hear your points, but I'm not super sure about it because like he eventually got the heavy armor and got the Rhino up to 200k, And like, yeah, you just avoid the scorpion, and it's like the amount of time that it takes to kill that rhino, it's just way too efficient. So I feel like it's another one of those brilliant moves that Red Hair had, where like he forced out the melter with the saber tooth regen. I feel like the same thing sort of happened. Hard to say though. Like maybe as you're saying, the boats just can get there if you spam the hell out of them, take the levels.
Yeah, it's a tough call. I mean, either way, it's a very nice move there by Sacco, making sure that he can go back into that War Factory counter, and it instantly pays off.
Yeah, pretty nice navigation there. All right, so we're again, for those who need some navigating, we're in a best of 5 right now. This is the finals of the first season of MAG1 League. We have Sako against Flower Fairy. Both of them are absolute legends among their regions here. Sako just won the first game. I'm going to reiterate some more stuff for you. So next week we are taking a break with Christmas coming up and all that. And then the week after, we're going to have a little Christmas bash. It's just a one-off little holiday tournament, just to give you guys some entertainment post holidays. That'll be on the 28th, and then the week after that, New Year's is coming. Of course, there's going to be a giant Mecha Bellum Pash, because it'll be season 2, and then the Saturday after New Year's, we'll be back with season 2 of Mag1 League. And I don't know the exact details of like the players and all that. I do know we are upscaling from 8 players to 16 players. This was only 8 players, just to like, test the waters, see if we can handle all the production and things of that manner. And we are happy with how it went. Please drop a follow to support our endeavors with providing esports for Mechabellum. That'd be greatly appreciated. All the action's going to be here.
Great things to come. Looking forward to it. Now, with game 2 of this best of 5 around the corner, are you expecting any changes? More importantly, are you expecting an Amplify specialist?
I knew you were gonna say that. I kind of want to see it now too. I don't know if it's because
Right?
you got me excited, or if it's because I want you to shut up. But like either way,
Oh, you know, could have just held it for yourself. Either way, the game just doesn't want to give it to us, so I guess we'll have to wait.
yeah, there's Typhoon Specialist. Will we see like a 6 for 6 picking of this frigging SPC? Not the best options, like not the most exciting stuff. Farseer makes sense. I mean, those 300 SPCs are just insane. There's Supply and Typhoon that look S tier to me.
I kind of like the speed spec as well.
Honestly, yeah,
It's
not a
got the
bad
really
shout.
nice slab of hit points, but
Yeah, yeah. But nope, plays it nice and safe.
we might get a betrayal of 501 here from the likes of Sacco.
I think we're gonna see that indeed. We might see some marksman spam.
We might see everybody's favorite cob.
Lots of friends.
I mean, they've been interesting mirrors, and I wonder if Sacco. I don't think he runs those techs, right? I think he runs Assault Marksman.
Yeah, let's take a look here. So Flower Fairy, we've already seen that. He did not change them, and we cannot see Sako's. Yeah, I'm not sure. But we know he likes to play standard, like he likes to be flexible. So I could see him having one of his 4 tech slots be Assault to be good in... it depends if you're a believer in Assman, because like sometimes people lose faith, you know?
Yeah, and I don't blame them, to be fair.
Yeah,
um,
it's a very love-hate
they,
relationship, you know?
yeah, they have their moments, and then sometimes you're reminded of they do have their counters.
Yeah, I was scrimming Dillo the other day, and he did Assman round 2 when I was Farseer spec, and I'm like, I press enter, I'm like, bro, I'm Farseer spec.
Button
EMP
across
for
EMP
100.
incoming. Yeah.
Yeah. Little
Well, we get
triangle
to see a
formation there.
Farseer. Yeah. And you've got to imagine we're going to see more marksmen here on the side of Flower Fairy, but then the question becomes, what is Sacco's answer going to be into it?
Well, the question is like, do these 201 players have some sort of like agreement where like they just spam marksmen against each other, you know? Like maybe that's just their code of conduct. But now that Sako's here, like they're not gonna do it. You know?
I mean, but we might also get to see why we see so much marksman spam. I mean, we've only seen the mirrors, but it might just be the strongest standard composition that you can play at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, jokingly, like you get enough marksmen, you have chaff clear, right?
Yeah, and even if the marksmen don't, like with the Fang spawn,
Mm-hmm.
they'll kind of cover for whatever you're lacking if you have enough of them.
Yep. No wasp swarm desired for Flower Fairy. I feel like
Interesting.
I feel like spells are like agreed upon to be pretty OP in standard, but
I mean, he has to have a plan here, right? Like, otherwise you insta-pick Wasp Swarm. Like, unless you really
yeah.
have a set thing in mind. He has 100 left, so I'm leaning towards he might have just clicked a bit too quickly, but maybe he just doesn't
Yeah.
value the spell.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he's like changing his analysis. Spells just aren't those type of cheap
E-
spells aren't super needed.
I
And
mean,
he's
either
countering
way,
it really well.
yeah, the 100 will carry through either way, so it might make a bit of a difference in the rounds
Yeah,
to come.
exactly. We'll see if it pays off for Sako, but it looks like Flower Fairy did prepare pretty well. I mean, he's got 4 marksmen and 2 Fang packs.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, if you look at the things that Flower Fairy is missing, it's some solid type of chaff clear, although we've seen that in these mirror games. Buying more marksmen is oftentimes just going to be the preferred line.
Yeah.
And Sako kind of lacking some solid single target DPS here. Of course, the Stormcallers are nice, but they're not guaranteed to hit whatever they're shooting at.
It's funny, we've seen some games without Stormcallers, despite Stormcallers being like the most standard of standard games. But like those Red Hair versus Flower Fairy games earlier, like one player had a few storms and the other player had 0 storms. It's kind of crazy. Like this is like brand new concept to me.
I mean, they were too busy buying marksmen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it kind of makes sense. I don't know. I feel like you can also spam Stormcallers like crazy too. We used to see that so much back in the day.
Yeah, but I know that at least marksmen were considered in the long run to be a Stormcaller counter.
Hmm.
Because they tend to
Vulcan.
just be too many single bodies for the Stormcallers to efficiently kill all of them with like the reload time and the missile travel time.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Vulcan's on the board.
Well, in standard, you don't want too many things of those 4 options. So yeah, Vulcans for both. Let's check the texts. Got mostly like war crimes for Sako. We got best partner and incendiary for Flower Fairy.
I wonder what the idea here is for Sako though. Like, I don't know how you're contesting the marksman.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm still gonna just advocate for spamming storms. Also, we have the Farseer here, so this should be a pretty good round for Flower Fairy. Opts to keep it for now. I do think that the aura that gives more range is like actually playable. He does not run it though.
Two Vulcan, so there is a bit of a shaft clear advantage now for Sako. Also, early Vulcan into these lower level marksmen right now should provide some good frontline.
Yeah, sledges are also gonna get toasted.
But the Vulcan marksman there, which tends to be like the combination with Vulcan, very much in favor of Flower Fairy here. And then, yeah, the options I guess would pretty much be either Stonecaller spam or Phoenix.
Yeah.
You could try and play for like worms, but you kind of need Bearlike to give them to you to get that started, and that's still a couple rounds away.
Yeah, I agree. Like obviously wasps is like a thing, but that feels more of like a gimmick or like I don't know. Like you beacon them back and forth and like you take energy shield on them and like. But I think long term, yeah, you got to get marksman or you got to get stormcallers or you need like a bear like. Wow. I much prefer the choice that Flower Fairy just did there, which was taking the advanced targeting system, whereas Sako went for the enhancement module.
I mean, I think he knows that there's no point in contesting it. Like he can't win this range war.
Yeah, I just feel like range is just good on no matter what comp you're doing or no matter if you're behind or ahead. Unless you're like literally doing like, rhino stuff or whatever, but like this is a
Yeah,
range
but I mean,
battle.
it is a range battle, yeah, but again, I don't think Sacco can match.
Oh, he's doing it. He's doing it. He
Going
knows.
Storms. It's
He
going Storms.
knows. Okay, okay. And he
But the
needs a Vulcan
enhancement
level.
module, I mean, he might just sell that and then buy a level 1 Storm. We have seen that in the past.
Yeah, true. He will lose one storm deploy. That is annoying. But for his sake, hopefully he gets a Vulcan level. That'll be huge and justify his enhancement module pickup.
Yeah, gets the range, so
Yeah,
whatever he
yeah.
may lack in terms of the marksman, he does make up for in Stormcallers and the attack on the Vulcans.
Killing some blue marksmans would help, but oh.
And the leveled not amp core, enhancement module Storms there doing a great job of getting rid of the Vulcan on the left side.
Yeah. So those Stormcaller units are pretty good, I've heard.
Yeah, they're not bad. Great round here.
Yeah, big damage. I mean, the advanced targeting system does take time to pay off. I mean, it costs like over 400 and you can get the same effect for like 100 from the tower with more range.
Yep. Now, we get 3 units as early as possible for the second rotation. Round 5, Wasps instantly picked up for Flower Fairy.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, I think it's the only thing you can pick.
Yeah, either you're selling or you're taking the Wasps. I do like
Both
the Wasps.
players, yeah, both players aren't equipped to deal with Wasps, so...
There's a Farseer on one side, so as long as Sako
True.
stays away from it. Looks like he's doing that,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, he's still going to struggle, though, with that pack over there. I don't know what his response to that will be.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not sure either.
Like, those level 1 Fangs are not going to do all that much, and there's not that many of them either. Oh,
No.
the
What in
worms.
the world? You said we need a Bearlike drop for that. Did you lie to us?
I mean, look, yes, but as a Worm Wasp enjoyer, I don't hate this. Now, I don't think this will be Worm Wasp. I think this will probably just be Worm.
Yeah, meaning no, what's that called?
Sandstorm.
Storm? Yeah.
It's so sad. People have just forgotten about the tech.
I didn't mean to like emotionally damage you there, but now I realize
Yeah, well,
that
no, you did. You did. This is
that was pretty effective, yeah.
rude.
So the Wasp for Flower Fairy got put towards the center instead of the left like we were originally worried about. So there's a clash of Wasps happening right now.
Yep.
That will likely decide the round.
Yeah, the Wasp on the left did get pulled towards the right side, which is good for Sacco, I would imagine. It kind of prevents the debuff on the left from coming through very quickly.
Vulcan levels, that's huge.
Ooh, that's good. He did sell a Stormcaller, by the way, and moved the enhancement module over and then rebought it.
Interesting.
Okay, so another good round here. Kind of slowing down the pace, but, you know, sub 2k here, I think, for Flower Fairy. So within striking distance.
Yeah, like with Worms on the field, like some rounds may end up with large damage numbers. ER Vulcan. Is it real? Sako doesn't think so.
Goes for the heavy armor instead. Yeah, I think he's well and truly into this Sandworm ID now. Had to pay for it with his own money, so gotta make use of that unlock cost.
There it is. I think he maybe should have made Blue Worm and put it on. Like you just profit a lot of HP by doing that. But let's see, maybe his deploys are going somewhere else. Like maybe contesting the Wasp battle more. He actually has a Wasp
Yeah,
summon
it goes
here.
for the range. Both of them going for range here on the Wasps.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. You know, this game honestly doesn't have a lot of marksmen, huh? Just 5.
True. Yeah.
This game's gone pretty different.
Ooh, this is such a coin flip though. Like neither player is really equipped to deal with Wasp, so it's literally just whoever gets the better lock-ons, whoever gets the levels, whoever is willing to tech like AA first.
Yeah, would you tech AA here? I mean, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of them going Fang range? Are you afraid of them buying Mustangs? What's the reason not to click AA here, would you say?
I mean, you want techs on the worms as well, obviously, and you want deployments for that. And then 2, you got to judge whether if your opponent sells out of wasp, like you now have AA into 1 wasp pack.
Mm. Yeah,
So I
that is
don't
fair.
know if it burns too much tempo, but
Makes sense. To be fair, it is only 400, but yeah, that's not nothing,
yeah,
right?
I think there is more of a case for clicking it, but
Yeah,
you got to think about the deployments, I guess. And we wanted to replicate here, wanted another worm,
yeah, makes sense.
and it seems to work out in his favor. Those sandworms in melee range, I think,
Dude,
take up a
yeah.
lot of those wasp shots, and that means that Sacco's wasps are free to hit flower fairies.
I think there's no answer really, right? Like, he needs a better answer to these worms. He doesn't run double shot, so I'm not quite sure what the play is. We saw Red Hair put like late balls, like literally all the way in the corner. Eventually, range sucked them.
Yeah, but it barely worked. Like, that was 3 packs for 1 worm.
Yeah, and the heavy armors keep coming. There is another oil as well, though.
Is oil that good though? I don't know. I mean, there's not that much
Yeah,
path. Like,
hard to say. I don't think it's like bad per se, but yeah,
no,
heavy
yeah,
armor is
he
quite
does pick it
good.
up.
There's
But for
the
the AA
anti-air.
here, Sacco.
Yeah, I like
The
that.
problem now is that Flower Fairy is kind of locked into this. Like, this is the annoying part of mirrors. As soon as you fall behind, you already teched and you already got the deployments, so you have to match.
Yep, we got some big decisions here. So Flower Fairy went Acid Crawlers, which is very, very good against worms, because worms cannot be photoned, and obviously they're a giant with a huge amount of HP. And then the counter anti-air on the Wasp, which was, I think, extremely needed here.
And we do have more wasps on the side of Flower Fairy.
Yeah, maybe more levels for Sako. What do we have? 3, 6, 7, 8 levels worth for Sako. 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for Flower Fairy. So 2 level advantage.
Not that insane.
Yeah.
Probably the difference is going to come down to how useful these worms are going to be. Acid has been clicked
Yeah, we'll see
on
if
the crawlers.
Acid is the winner here. It's known to be very good against the worms.
Yeah. They seem to be kind of moving around it, though. Managing to unburrow
Yeah.
after the pools of acid. That's creating big problems on the right side.
Yeah, I would
And
say
with the
mixed
power
results
fall,
there. Not the best so far.
hard to see how many worms are still alive, but this might just be game of Vulcan still alive as well. It's another 350 damage. 3 worms, and that will be
Wow.
enough.
Worms are so good in standard. I think
They
Flower
are.
Fairy did not buy enough marksmen.
Yeah, surely more marksman was the answer there. It's a
Definitely.
precarious situation. I wonder what would have happened though if Flower Fairy went for AA early. Like,
Mm,
what if? It's hard to judge these type of mirrors.
yep.
But doesn't quite have the damage to deal with the worms here, which does create issues.
So I guess you can just unlock worms, huh?
You can.
Dang. Yeah,
You
they look
definitely
solid.
can.
I've never seen worms look bad in standard, like ever. Not that I watch a lot of standard, but like in the 10-ish games I've seen worms be played in standard, they are just like amazing.
And I think for the standings, this means Sacco is now 2 games up.
Yeah, just kind of running away with it so far. I, I'm kind of shocked. I mean, if he wins this next one, he's taking the whole thing in a 3-0, which would be a huge upset to like not an upset that he wins, but like an upset if it's a 3-0, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, just the caliber of player here and knowing the record between these 2 players, it would be quite something for Sacco to take this in one fell swoop.
For sure, yeah. I've seen one of the series between them, which was an absolute banger. I loved it. I don't think I saw their other series. What have you seen from them?
I mean, you've got the first game, of course, that they played on day one, which was also a standard mirror, but their Flower Fairy came out on ahead. And I've heard some stories indeed of like scrims between them not going in Sako's favor, but he seems to
Yeah.
have turned things around.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, Sako praises this player a lot. Like Sako always says they're very efficient player, struggles against them a lot. Pretty tricky player. He's good with his wasp usage.
Yeah, Wasp has definitely been a pivotal unit of the meta. I want to say the past few months.
Yeah, I strongly agree. I'm not 100% sure why. I'd have to think about it, but
I mean, I think it all boils down to the fact that Wasps don't have great counters that don't
yeah.
require investment. They have counters that hard counter them, like Fort AA and Mustang range AA obviously destroy them, but some boards just don't want Mustangs. Again, you've got like this Tarantula idea where buying Mustangs into them generally favors the Tarantula player, and the Wasp player generally only needs to just put Wasps on the board, not even tech them. And the Mustang player needs to get into Mustang and range, so then they're locked into this
Yeah.
scenario where they have to play the units, even if the board doesn't really or like want them apart for the Mustangs, for the Wasps.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's kind of like an ecosystem thing. It's like when
Yeah.
Mustangs are less playable or if Wraiths are less playable, which is like the current state we're in, like Wasps just go up in stocks. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like we've been sleeping on it for a while, but like jump drive at 50 is just kind of insane. Like we're all just waiting for Bearlike drops sometimes, and it's just
I
such
mean,
a good way to stall a turn.
I've been complaining about jump drive for so long.
Yeah, it's definitely in
It's
my
so
notes.
annoying. It's so annoying.
It's on my wish list for a balance change for sure. Like just get the Phoenix treatment, you know?
Yeah.
No amplifying
Uh, we're
core.
we're gonna need to send this to game 4
Yeah,
just
let's
for
bet
that.
200 tickets on Flower Fairy.
Gonna have to make a quick PayPal to Sacco there for this one because no amplify core the whole day, really?
Yeah, we've only seen it like once or twice even be an option, sadly, I feel. Or maybe 2 or
Now
3
he could
times.
have made up to me if he picked a lead spec, but not even that.
Ah, man.
Like, what is this? Some sort of prestigious tournament game or come on, man.
Yeah.
Stormcallers again, dude. He is falling down.
Yeah, yeah.
The
He's fake.
501 respect ladder, if that is a thing. We've got the same setup from Flower Fairy, by the way. Again, this marksman triangle. Again, the sledges. Again, the crawlers.
Yeah, interesting. Pretty similar for Sako as well
Yep.
to stuff we've seen in the past.
I wonder if he goes double crawler here, which is something that we've seen quite a lot from these type of Stormcaller openers instead of arcs.
Yeah. I
Yep.
yeah. I'd be happy with either. I'm not sure which one's better because I just don't play standard very often.
I've played a bit of standard, and a lot of it just turns out that this tends to win way more matches than you'd think. Like not having
Yeah,
arc lights and just having this much chaff with the Stormcallers just wins so much more.
yeah, it makes sense. You lose like a little bit of Arclight experience, and like Sako does respect Arclight carry like extremely a lot right now. But it's
Yep.
pretty minor. You'd rather like win the round, obviously, than get like a marginal amount of Arclight experience.
And we get triple crawler, so Sako willing to tap into his additional resources from quick supply and already utilize 150 to get that additional deployment on the board.
Yeah, it's a lot of chaff. I mean, the sledgehammers can't handle that. Should be pretty good here.
No, yeah, sledgehammers are like okay-ish if your opponent can only buy 2 crawlers, but after that, you really need to buy some arcs.
Yep.
Now, the important thing here will be for the units to clump up somewhat, and that's the nice thing about these crawlers running ahead. If you don't have the crawlers, the fangs are too slow to usually protect your arc lights, and so they tend to get sniped, which completely invalidates you getting Chafter in the first place. So here with the crawlers, all of the things clump up, and then the storm callers can hit their mark and help chaff clear.
Yeah, looks pretty good. I don't think Flower Fairy did terrible here. Like I thought he would do worse, but it should be a Sako victory.
Stormcallers reigning supreme here on round 1. what does round 2 offer? It's the arc lights.
That's pretty good.
You see, this is why we buy chaff on round 1. We just wait for the arc lights to be gifted. Flower Fairy going for the exact same drop here.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, arc lights have just gotten so good in the meta. Like, they're just... Like, there was a phase where we all used to just laugh at them. We would sell them, get Vulcans. Nowadays, it feels like the opposite, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, arc lights, ever since that buff to their attack interval going down to
Yep.
0.9, have been such monsters.
Yeah, totally.
And not always in the carry sense. They can be,
Yeah, it
but
helps both of
they're
the
solid
cases.
chaff here.
Yeah, I kind of
More
like the
chaff.
change, honestly.
I do too,
Like,
yeah.
I much prefer arcs being good and Vulcans being mid. Not that Vulcans are mid; they might be good. I don't know. I don't care. But I like arc lights being.
I don't know.
playable.
I place my units on the line. I don't want a Vulcan.
Yeah.
More chaff here. Bought by the two players. We got the fangs on the outsides for Sacco. We got more crawlers being purchased for Flower Fairy. And yeah, the chaff still proving to be quite tricky. Arclights are trying their best, but one of them is locked onto Sacco's Arclight. One on the right, I think, got sniped.
Yeah, I really like sledges in this sort of like early to mid portion of the game. Like Apooche had a really good showing with spamming sledges in standard. I'm trying to remember who that was against. I think it was Red Hair, but it was just amazing. And then like extended range sledgehammer came. It was insane.
Yeah, that card completely changes like the nature of the unit.
Yeah, subsidized
Like
marksman. Is it time? I mean, there's the worm item if
he
you want it,
doesn't
right?
pick it. They both go port shield.
Let's see if they'll toss it on the sledge for now, but I think both players are thinking Bearlike drops / buy worms with it.
They might have to wait a bit though, because we've already had the unit drop, and so we'll at least have to wait for turn 5, and we might even have to wait until turn 7.
Yeah, so what would Sako be thinking in his mind then? Like maybe
I don't
buying
know.
Vulcan or
We
buying
just
Worm?
buy chaff and we buy arclights for 3 rounds.
That's the standard life, right?
Yeah, just shake hands and wait. Stormcallers, I guess, but into crawler, I don't know how good it is. Sacco here with the advantage though on the arcs, already managing to get that range enhancement in on round 3, and has
Yeah.
the same amount of arclights as Flower Fairy.
Yeah, it's just Storms versus Marksmen is really the difference alongside the sledgehammers.
I think the late fangs are way better as well than all of these crawlers.
Yeah. That beacon's taking forever to come back.
Arclights kind of locked up shooting at one another, while the marksmen are shooting at fangs. Classic. And the Stormcallers, ooh, they get distracted by one lone crawler. Beacon might have been late, but it does arrive at a crucial timing. And that is 2 crawlers.
That's a standard game right there. This is why standard games usually take forever. Unlike today, where we've had pretty fast standard games.
What do you mean? It was like a whole 8 damage there. Huge.
Really fast skips, yep. Nobody wants the lightning storm. Too early.
We get the Rhino for Flower Fairy. Probably why he picked that portable shield.
Yes, of course, yeah. That's pretty strong. I mean, you gotta do something to answer that. I'm sure Sako's already thinking about it.
Yeah. 3 more level 2 Arclights.
That makes sense. Perfect counter.
It's the same thing as the Marksman conundrum, okay? Like, Marksmen are not good at clearing crawlers unless you buy a million of them. Now, early Arclights don't have the DPS to deal with tanky units unless you buy a million of them.
It's really true though, and like he really can do arc-light carry. I mean, he's set up for it. He has no marksmans, right? It seems to be his build. So he just clicks. I would say like maybe charge shot before elite just so he can kill the rhino, but maybe that's
I
not
don't
good
think
enough.
he's gonna click charge shot.
Yeah, maybe not. But he needs significantly higher levels.
Yeah, I
justify
mean,
elite
this rhino on the
marksman.
left will be a problem.
Yeah, maybe he just needs to buy something else or get a Bearlike drop.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
crazy,
think
isn't
you.
it? Imagine having to buy your own units.
I know, right? Everything should just be free from Bearlike, okay? Like every single round, you know.
Got a problem? Have the game fix it. Well,
Yeah.
round 5, it could be free units. Like,
It can be. Yeah. Look at this damage. Oof.
yeah, that's big though. That's a huge turn. Good usage as well of picking up that early item and realizing the rhino will be
Yeah.
of high value.
Yeah. Super good.
No unit reinforcements.
Nope. And he's sitting on items. There's the ball. So he's paying 50 to unlock it, and then he has to deploy this junk unit, but that's what you have to do. What's going on? It's the portable shield,
Nothing
I
at
reckon.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah? I guess it's, yeah, I mean, he probably wants to sell it, but
Yeah. I don't know. Probably should equip it, right? Like, I mean, think how much damage he took last turn.
yeah.
He needs to buckle down.
Although
and
it looked like he
really...
was kind of losing right side as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, what did he do this round? Like, in terms of getting stronger, he leveled his storms and did this mobile crawler thing?
Yeah, I just bought a bit more chaff, I think, and added
Yeah.
an arc? No, not even.
Doesn't sound
it's
very
hard-
strong.
Hard to tell sometimes.
Maybe this...
It's
Yeah,
like,
it
were there
is.
7 arcs or 8 arcs on the board? Was it 5 packs of fangs or 7?
100%, yeah. Maybe the storm levels will help a lot. But the sledgehammers are blue now, and one of them has a laser sight. Could
Steel
maybe
balls are
get-
going for the right target though, and they are locked onto that rhino.
Yeah, they got it right.
And yeah, the shield here are doing a great job. Ooh, yeah, the shield here absolutely MVP.
Yeah, 100%.
That
You
would
gotta
not
equip
have
it.
worked. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we know steel balls are not good at killing things. We needed like 12 of them to kill a worm earlier, so.
True. But the worm has more range than the rhino.
Of course, yeah.
It pretends to be a melee unit, but in
Yeah, just-
reality it has like 40 range.
Yep. So not
Speaking
the
of.
worst. Oh, Bearlike giveth.
Another worm game.
Just what the doctor ordered. So would you sell the rhino as Flower Fairy to put more investment into worms and to equip the portal? No, he goes Melter.
Yeah, and he beacons the rhino. I was going to mention this. I think I like this. There isn't that much to punish the rhino for now, apart from that one steel ball pack, and it's clear that Sacco doesn't want to invest heavily into countering the rhino, so it's fine to do this for one more turn and kind of see what the impact of the rhino is.
Yeah. But is it just, would it have been better to just like take the worm and be safe? Like this Melter feels a bit more like risky to me.
But are you safe though is the question.
Yeah.
Like, you get into the same scenario again where you're playing a mirror, and mirrors are very hard to judge. Now, I try to avoid them because of that. I'm not very good at judging them, but, you know, it's like, is the worm going to be on the right side, on the wrong side? Do you have the tech? Do you get the level? Is the engagement going your way? Like, it's hard to predict all of this. So sometimes it might be preferable to try and play it something else where you know that you might have a better chance to kind of influence the outcome of the battle.
Makes sense. He has a lot
Rhino
of
is making his way over now, and Rhino into Worm is generally a Rhino favored. And I think it's just going straight, it's going straight for it. And that's a lot of DPS.
They're equal
Now,
level,
this Worm does have armor, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Armor and the shield.
Yep.
Melter on the wrong side.
Yep. And we have the elite marksman on the arc light now. So every level extremely precious. Now they're just starting to scale super well.
Now, while we did talk about this mirror scenario, Melter into Worm, I don't think is that favored for the Melter. This replicate tech has gotten cheaper and cheaper across patches, and it's problematic.
Yeah, it's super
Melters.
rough. Like, you can win the game with Melters for sure, but I do agree, like, Worms put up a really good run for their money and are favored slightly, maybe. I don't know.
Now there is acid on these crawlers. It was tech before with to no avail, but maybe we'll see the return of it this game.
Yeah,
There's definitely more
maybe
hit points on Flower Fairy's side to be able to set up a better defense.
for sure. Maybe you don't want to click Acid, though, because you have the Melters. Like, the reason you get Acid is to have DPS, right?
Yeah, true.
So we'll see. I think the Arc Lights are going to start scaling really well, so we might have a comeback here for Sako. Look how
And
far
we
back
see
these
a
Melters are.
yeah, they are as far back as you could possibly put them. And we see a bit of a return here from last game. Looks like a very similar setup with the 2 wasps being purchased.
Yeah, yeah. Very interesting.
And Flower Fairy going for the shooting squad on his marksman.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know what? I kind of like it. The chaff clear on Sako is basically the arcs, and Shielded Fang can one stop these worms in their tracks and hold them down a bit longer for the melter to do their job, and 2 also prevent these arc lights from clearing the path.
Yeah, it does make sense. I would say there's like so many arc lights that it shouldn't be too bad, but I do agree that it's a good move.
I mean, like you've got to do something. Like I think he has to find a way of making sure that these worms don't like constantly burrow.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Is the answer found in these 3 units though? 3rd rotation as early as possible, round 8.
I don't know. I think Flower Fairy's feeling desperate right now. Like Fort AA for these 2 wasps, and like the forts, I'm not sure they're long for this world. They might die pretty quick.
There's a level 3 worm on the right side with armor and port shield.
So that's 500,000 HP effectively. Like, that
Yep.
is ridiculous.
I mean, even if this melter locks on, it's not going to be killing that very fast.
Yeah, how much DPS does a Melter have at its highest? I think it
It's like
still takes a while.
8,000. Well, DPS I don't know. It's 8,000 every 0.2 seconds.
It's
So
50,
times 5, 40k per
50,
second.
40k, yeah. Yeah, so that takes a good like 12 seconds to kill this worm. That's pretty long.
And that's not including the ramp up as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Crazy. So that's a bit of a menace.
Cheeky little oil play there. Sako going for the Vulcans, selling one of them and utilizing the other to set that oil on fire.
Very
Flower Fairy
interesting.
respects it though.
Yeah,
Does put down
bubbles
those
are
shield.
done.
Doesn't quite shield all of it.
No, still a decent oil, I guess.
Now the wasps are moving, so how many of them are getting hit? Yeah, only about half of them. Melter does manage to find its mark there. Locking onto that big worm, but it's going to go underground, and that's barely, I want to say, 20% of its hit points gone. Locks on yet again.
Underground.
Okay, we've gotten through the shield. We've gotten through the shield. It one-shots the melter.
Oh my god,
Okay,
this worm
it's down to like 25% hit points, but that's not going to cut it, and that's another big round for Sako. $750 hit points, do or die.
Yeah, this friggin' worm, man.
Flower
Super
Fairy,
heavy.
yes, super heavy is something to consider.
Maybe,
Doesn't
yeah.
go for it. I mean, he doesn't really have any slots on his available worms, like nothing leveled, so...
Yeah, I wonder if Flower Fairy could have taken it and like made a blue fortress to keep the worm in place. I don't know.
The melters, importantly, don't have range, by the way.
Yeah, do you think they need it?
I mean, I feel like it would be a logical choice. Yeah, it does end up going for it. And a good point is being mentioned there in the chat by Apooche, saying even if you kill the worms, like these arc lights are still scaling up in the background.
100%, yeah. It's such a nice strategy overall from Sako. I really like how he played it.
Third tech now, EMP. Flower Fairy does end up going for those portable shields on the Fangs.
Looks like there's an
I have to
AMD
see.
as well. For the storms, I guess, or for the fortress. Are the storms new? I wasn't really paying attention. Might have just been for the fortress rockets.
I mean, yeah, I think it's a bit of both. There is HE on the storm collars, so
Yeah, yeah.
maybe also preventing a missile.
Yeah.
Not sure how much the AMD does, though. Looks kind of the same as last turn.
Yeah, it doesn't seem super great. It's gonna all come down to
Okay,
the
well,
worms.
he's locked onto the worm, and it's stuck on Fangs, so it might be able to be taken out this turn.
But the arc lights.
Yeah, you've got to deal with the arcs, and the worm burrows before
Oh.
dying, so that'll take much longer now to kill, because we got to ramp up yet again.
Oh.
Eventually it goes down, not allowed to re-burrow yet again, but yeah, the arcs here with the EMP shutting off the range on the melters and absolutely crushing them. Elite on the levels doing some work, but one Phoenix is left alive.
Oh my gosh. That's wild.
It's not going to be able to get through all of these. The arc light's quite tanky at this high level, and the Phoenix
Yeah,
only level 1, but...
That's true. Maybe you don't even need to buy more anti-air. I was gonna say maybe he has to stress for anti-air for the rest of the game, but like, no, I guess not.
Yeah, you just slowly whittle them down by tying the round.
Okay, we got some spells.
Big spells. Ion Beam.
Makes sense. It's a safe option because Nuke can just get bubble prevented.
Worse for Flower Fairy, I'd say, though. Harder to hit here. You kind of want to hit the arcs, but it's going to be hard to
Yeah.
make that happen. And even if you do, they're very spread out across the board.
Yeah, I agree. That looks pretty scary for Flower Fairy. Lots of Fang shields. That's kind of a winning formula here to keep the worms in place. You could take Ignite on them as well, but I think like you have to commit to the melters being the solution, right?
Get a level on the Sandworm as well. Second one now, hitting level 2. Might create some problems of its own.
Yeah, I agree. It's another big boy you gotta take care of.
And Sako simply selling out of the Wasp, saying, you know, I'm okay with you taking AA on your Fortress against 2 level 1 Wasps.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Definitely can use the money elsewhere.
I think because of the Ion Beam here, Flower Fairy feels forced to get into the barriers himself.
Yeah. I would like to see some more worm techs. We have like so much
True.
investment into worms. It is absolutely ridiculous, and we don't have another tech.
Yeah, it's surprising not to see Replicate here. I think it would be a very logical choice into the Melters.
I think Sudden Strike's good too, but yeah, I'm sure Replicate's probably better.
This Ion Beam on the left looks very good. Marksman taken out. Some chaff. Melter gets chunked. The Stormcallers are gone. Another Marksman here awaits its fate. And that's high level too.
Pretty painful.
And 2 of the big worms here were mobile beaconed, so will it be enough? You've got to wonder. The right side is kind of collapsing, but as I say that, these arc lights pack more of a punch than you maybe think from these little guys. And even though the Melter locks on, that big worm burrows, resurfaces. And that's simply going to be all she wrote. 3 games.
Holy
is all it
smokes.
takes.
That was extremely unexpected, but he is proving worms are extremely good in standard. Oh my gosh. Big congrats to Sako, winning the very first MAG1 league. Very convincingly. I mean, he didn't win his groups in first place, but certainly got first place in the end, doing absolutely incredible today.
And I mean, that's all that matters. It's the same as in Mecha. You know, as long as you have 1 hit point remaining, all that matters is getting your opponent down to 0, and he does so in quick fashion. Very impressive stuff. Speaking of,
Hello.
congratulations.
5-1 best region. Let's go.
USA, USA.
Oh,
What is this standard shenanigans though?
bro, standard is
Do we
so
have
free.
do we need to rebrand ourselves? Like, is this what we've come to?
No, this is just oil and spells hurting my soul. Okay, we return to Arclight Carry.
Right, right. I mean, with the worms, we'll just call it late aggro, perhaps.
Worms are
You seem
busted,
to
I
have
think.
you seem to have figured something out, yeah.
Yeah,
When
marksmen
have
are
you
garbage. That's the key. Marksman is absolute shooting squad is I mean, it's cute, but like there's this unit called the Worm that doesn't give a fuck about marksman, right? And Arclight Carry is unbeatable in standard, basically, is my opinion, because all the counterplay just makes the Arclight player ahead, I think. You can't go forward, you lose to Melter. You can't go marksman, you lose to Worm. That's about it. I don't know.
it looked very dominant. Yeah, we had Apooche say in the chat as well, like even if these worms end up going down, those Arclights are going to chew through the entire army, and what a game.
Indeed, indeed.
Were you
Arclight's OP.
expecting
I think so. I actually, I don't like because I scrimmed Flower Fairy like last week, and he wrecked me 3 games in a row with Arclight Carry, and I'm like, what do I do about it? I don't know. There's nothing you can do about it other than mirror the Arclights. It feels like, or like play a comp where Arclight Carry isn't easy to get into, right? Like I don't know,
Yeah.
just go early boat or something. But you can't go boats in standard either because that's troll. I think. Like it, I don't know. Like it feels like the most efficient comp.
Yeah, I agree.
In
Does
standard,
it
and then
all.
worms are so good. Like I really want to replicate, of course, but like I didn't even need to. Like the worm just stall. Like if you buy 5 marksmen, you just lose the game. And then I think shooting squad didn't do anything in the end. Like I think he was trying to threaten like the whole I'm gonna spam marksman, but like I don't know. That's why in the second game I went Vulcan, right? Because usually you go Mustangs because you can't go Storms against shooting squad stuff because Mustang aim is so good. So that's why I took the Vulcan. I was more so planning to go Mustang, but I don't think you can go Mustang into Vulcan, or it's like doesn't feel ideal, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And were you kind of surprised here by the approach from Flower Fairy? Because you say that you faced a lot of carry Arclight. So were you surprised to not see more of that from him?
Yeah, I was expecting an Arclight mirror in the final game because we both took the Arclight drop, and but I guess he couldn't really contest because I had more level. I was quick supply, so I had Arclight range around earlier than he did. So I guess maybe that's just thinking like I can't contest it, so I'll just do something else.
And I've one thing I don't know if you still remember the first game in the series, but you were playing some aggro. I
Mhm.
think the second rotation of free units, you decided to go for Rhino, which I found very surprising because I thought the fortresses there looked quite good. The Scorpion maybe could have been okay. But you were quite willing to go into Rhino there and then finish it off with the War Factory. Were you not scared at all about the potential for the armored sledges, or did you just think you'd have enough time to get into War Factory, and was that the plan all along?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That was because the second. So when the first unit drop came, it was boats, Mustangs, and something else, right? So I'm like, for sure he takes the Mustang because he knows I'm going to go boats. But I guess his response to Typhoon boat is carry boat back. So I was kind of thrown off by that. So the second I saw the carry boat thing, I'm like, okay, I have to War Factory because in theory, like carry boats are unstoppable, but they should be losing to War Factory now. So basically, I was just baiting with a Typhoon boat on the left side and then holding out for what do you call it, War Factory, because I mean forts definitely look good. I was also debating even going Arclight carry or like just elite arcs just to deal with the sledges. um but I needed all the funds for War Factory, especially when you went ensign. That was like, oh my god, I have so many things to anti-missile, so it seemed like the optimal line.
Yeah, very nicely navigated. Looks like we have Bearlike joining us here. I'm sure he's here to give congratulations to Sako. Welcome, Bearlike.
Hi, congratulations, Sako, for the
Thank you.
dominating finals.
Thanks, it was a blast.
Yeah. It was very fun to watch you play Macabellum. It's actually, I think I saw lots of different strats from you, aggro and standard and Vulcan and Stormcaller, Sandworm, all that stuff.
Yeah, they
It's
appreciate the
really
kind
fun.
words.
Yeah.
Sandworm OP. Did you see how often Typhoon SPC was picked, Bearlike?
It got negative 100. It's fine.
Yeah. We actually was gonna nerf it a little bit harder. Then we last minute Mizim told me that the data was not suggesting it's too strong, especially in lower MMR range. That's why we didn't nerf it very hard. The reason we are nerfing it actually isn't because it's too strong. It's because lots of players is picking it as a economic option, not actually wanting the Typhoon. It's basically wants the 300 and the high HP option, and that's why we are nerfing its HP, so it can still be a economic option, but it shouldn't give you very high HP. Also, I found some configure errors for lots of different starting specialists and starting units. So we have to fix them.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, I'm glad you guys are looking at pick rate as a metric as well, because we don't want to see Typhoon and Boat every single game.
Yeah, I think for the finals we don't say that much. We didn't saw that much. Didn't say that much. Overload or Typhoon, probably because we fixed some bug. We
Yeah.
it was strange because we are nerfing overloads like for a long time, and we are wondering why it is so strong. And also, we thought the Stormcaller starting opening is already having the lowest player HP, and we were thinking why it is so strong and so loved by players. Then we found out yeah, we actually put in the wrong number.
Yeah, the configuration, that's funny. The overlords were so OP for a little bit. Bear, like I've got some interview questions for you if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
I was curious what your thoughts are on the MAG1 League and like the future of esports with Mechabellum.
Well, that's I think two questions. Um, for MAG1 League, I think it is very well organized, and I think for a small game like Mechabellum, this kind of tournaments really showed require a lot of effort from Yiswin Big and all you guys to help him, and it actually is. I think it showed the passion of the community, and we really appreciated the effort from you guys, and I really enjoy watching the MAG1 tournament. Um, as I said last time, the season one of MAG1 tournament is super entertaining, and this time even the pre-season stuff is like very interesting, and it's also a good opportunity for us to understanding the meta and the balance of the game. So for MAG1, my thought is you guys did really, really good here, and keep on doing it if possible. It really helps us a lot.
Thank you
Um,
very much.
and for the esport part, for the esport part, as you know, we have just parted away with our former publisher, Paradox Arc. Although we do thank for them for their efforts to bring Mechabellum to 1.0 and to have to to get all your guys to in the community. But we do believe for MAG1 to grow to a even bigger stage, we may need some change up, and that is exactly what we are doing now. Some of the community, community members probably already signed some NDAs with some people, and yeah, but generally there's lots of plan on our part, and we for those I'm not allowed to say, but for the overall view is that we want MAG1 to grow, and we want more players to be able to play MAG1. And I think esports is a very big to help grow the community, because MAG1 is a very watchable and streamable game. For now, for at least from what my point of view, esports itself was not the goal, but esports is a tool for us to actually make the game more fun for everybody and make the game more popular and bring more players into the community. But with all that being said, there are some very serious people in the esports and in the gaming industry are involved in the future of MAG1. And for esports, there will be a push for esports, and you never know what this will turn out to be. I do not want to promise too much, but I do want to tell you guys there are serious effort to push the esports side of MAG1.
Makes sense. We're all very excited for the future news you have for us, and we love to hear the support and the appreciation for esports. And I have a representative from the 201 community here. He's a really strong player and a popular broadcaster on Bilibili, GoDog. And I have a couple of questions for him. Hi, GoDog. You're there, right?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, welcome. So first question I have for you is, do you think that this MAG1 League has given you a different perspective on the 501 players? Like, have you gotten to know them better and stuff?
Yes, true. They were just a name and an opponent to me before, but when I had the opportunity to communicate on Discord, I found they are interesting people.
Ah, that's nice. What did you like about them, and who have you been speaking with?
For example, this afternoon I'm in Dilo at the tournament before this final, and I chatted with him about next final on Discord. You also joined us, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we were making predictions, no one thought that Sako could be the champion, but the result.
Yeah, Sako did it indeed. So how do you guys handle your tournaments and your schedules?
Regarding the tournament format, Zmora have many ideas. Zmora is in his meeting, so he cannot be here. He will first provide us with a draft. Then Boats and Pants will join the discussion between Big and me. Usually, we are easy to persuade. Maybe Pants need more talking.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to get your guys' perspectives and to be able to work with you, and I look forward to more of that in the future. And for the last question, what would you do if there's disagreement between the 201 and the 501? How would you like to resolve that?
If we can't make an agreement, for example, in this test, Pants preferred JSL, while Zmora preferred double animation is better. But we eventually choose Pants ID, and after the tournament, we found that JSL was indeed very good, and we would frequently use it in future tournaments.
I see. Thanks for your answers. Yeah, I like the format too, and I hope we can continue to work together and come up with formats that we both enjoy. All right. So would you like to have any closing words, Sako and Bearlike?
Sure.
What would you like to
Yeah.
say about Mechabellum, the tournament, your experience?
It's been a blast the past couple weeks. I would say, like, motivation wise to play the game like competitively has definitely gone up since, well, you get to compete against other players, so that's very exciting. So I'm very thankful for the opportunity to play in this, and shout out to everyone who to put this together behind the scenes, Win Big, Pants, Wonder, and everyone else, all the casters and everything. It's been a blast, and of course, thanks to Bearlake for creating and balancing the game and keeping it up. Really appreciate it.
Hell yeah. All right. Yeah, you're all welcome to go. I'm gonna sign off to the stream and everything. Thanks for coming on for the interviews, guys. All right. So that does it for this
Thank you.
tournament. Thank you. It's been an absolute blast casting with you, Rooster.
Likewise, it was a lot of fun.
So again, just to reiterate some last final stuff, we're taking a break off next week during Christmas and all that coming up. And then on the 28th, we're going to have a little holiday bash, Christmas bash, just like a one-off tournament for fun to keep you guys entertained. And then the week after that, we're going to get a huge season 2 patch for Mechabellum, and then we're going to start season 2 of MAG1 League. So please, please drop us a follow on Twitch so we can give you guys more content in the future. And otherwise, that's it. I'll be signing off. Thanks for watching.
Hello, my name is Yes Winbig, and I would like to tell you about MAG1. MAG1, or Mechabellum Advanced Group 1, is a competitive organization that hosts Mechabellum, or Iron Commander tournaments for players all over the world. We have hosted some of the highest cash prize events for Mechabellum's professional players in the last few months. These tests have been proof of concept for a competitive organization that provides leaderboard players with an opportunity to play for small stakes. We are currently concluding a 2-group GSL-like competition that is having a finals on Saturday at 1500 UTC. Some of your favorite players, such as Ensako, Red Hair, Flower Fairy, and Apooche, will be competing for a $500 prize pool. I would like to invite viewers, players, casters, and anyone interested in the competitive Mechabellum and Iron Commander scene to join us at mag1.community. Mag1.community is a website that will encourage you to join our organization by providing your in-game name and a Discord or QQ ID so that we can begin matchmaking, interviews, and commentary with community members from all over the world. Thank you for taking time to think about Mag1, and we'll see you this Saturday playing for $500 at 1500 UTC. Find the stream at mag1.live or at Twitch at mag1live.
All right, it's time. It's time, I hear it's the Mechabellum Advanced Group Championships. And I've gotta say something. As the 24/7 Intergalactic Extracontinental 728-75-9126 Heavyweight Lightweight Champion of the world. And that is this. That these championships, too many suits, too many guys, shilling for the corporations, shilling for the money. They ain't like us down here in the little leagues, sweating, fighting, and dying. Yes, that's right, some people have died playing Mechabellum. And they don't even know. You got your chicken men covered in peanut butter. You got guys who call themselves Apooche. You got your red hairs, your blue hairs, your pink hairs, and your flower fairies. All shilling for the gold. But not anymore. 'Cause we're coming for you. You'll never claim this belt. You'll never claim my legacy. Get it.
Bye bye, meow.